Oh, you're safe.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I'd like to call to order the regular board meeting for September 18th, 2023 at 9:31 here in Marks Hall.
Workshop.
Did I say board workshop? Thank you. Lori, would you take the roll call, please?
Sure. Lori Dalton here via Zoom. Kathy Gregory.
Present in the hall.
Todd Lombardi.
Present in the hall.
Russell McAllister.
Present hall.
Louis Nichols.
Present in the hall.
Cindy O'Brien.
Present in the hall.
Rod Smith.
Present in the hall.
And Dwayne Trotter.
Present and in the hall.
Okay. And then Lee Morris.
Present in the hall.
Okay, Lewis, would you lead us in the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Heavenly Father, thank you for this time together in your presence, and we're grateful for this opportunity to serve the park and its residents. We ask that you be with us and grant us the wisdom and the understanding, keep our hearts and our minds open as we consider each other's opinions and those of our residents. These things we ask in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, could we have public comment, please? And that's limited to 3 minutes into the workshop items only. Do I have anybody on Zoom that would like to make a public comment? Only Lori? Anybody in the audience? One more time. Hearing none, I'm closing public comments, and I'd like to have a report from the Treasure Barn Standing Committee. And I don't see anybody here. Do I have anybody on Zoom?
I don't have anything to report.
Nothing to report.
No, sorry.
Okay, we'll jump into the clubs and organizations. Anybody like to make a report? Well, this is going fast.
Wow.
Do I have anybody on Zoom for clubs and
Dwayne.
organizations? Hearing none, we'll jump into the workshop agenda items. The first item we have is the trustees position guide. Kathy?
Okay. Well, good morning. First of all, I apologize for the horrible name for this. I didn't know what to call it, so it just was a first ditch effort. The rationale for this is a pretty simple one, and it's one that all of us have been in. You know, you run for the board, you get elected to the board, you get sworn in, and then you get your assignment. And then somehow you think magically, I'm going to know what I'm doing. And you don't. I'm going to speak personally. When I was given the assignment of seasonal rec trustee, I thought Mike was joking because I had no idea what that was or what I was supposed to do. And the expectation is that you get it, and then people just expect you to just go do it. Then day one, this is what we do. Wow, I agree with that.
I do.
I do. Thank you.
Glad you're over there.
Big guys figuring it
I
out.
know it. So it dawned on me that, you know, we have in our PPs, we all know our job duties. We all know what we're supposed to do, but we don't know how to do it. And if you're lucky enough to have someone who's a former trustee who's been in that role, you can use them, and then nothing takes the place of firsthand knowledge, but they're not going to be there every day. And they're going to want to get out because we're all in that. We know what that's like. We want to move on. And sometimes we don't have that. In the last almost 2 years, we lost a chairman and we've lost 2 longstanding trustees. And that has really made me realize that on any given day, we may wake up and say, I can't be this anymore because life happens. So what do we do? So my idea is pretty simple, is for each of us to develop in our own way a how-to guide on how to do our job. I've started doing health and welfare since I've been kind of in that role for the past few months and started to do it because I'm doing it. It's easy to do a guide if you're doing the job duties itself and you do it as you go. For instance, on health and welfare, been working with all the paid instructors on getting their new service contracts done. So the forms, what forms we have them use, the reservation forms, the new service contract, the sign-in sheet, the incident report, all those things that are involved in that simple process. And that would be put with all the step-by-step instructions. On my seasonal rec, I've been working on it as well. You know, how to book a band. What are my contacts? What form do I use? Because you don't know what you don't know, pointing Todd. We don't know. And so this to me is a simple way. This will be a binder for me. Health and welfare now has a binder. Binders work for me because you can put everything in there in order by topic. And the idea of this is that when you vacate your trustee position, if you don't run again or you're not elected or whatever happens, that binder goes to the next trustee. There you go. They can add to it because we all have better ideas. We gain context. We may have a better idea of doing something or add activities to it or whatever we do, but they can build on that. But they've got that to say, oh, this is how they did that. Oh, okay. Because it's, for me, having something in writing just works. I can look at it. Personally, I think this should be mandatory because we don't know what's going to happen. We've been in that position already. And so this is the idea of this. So thoughts?
Any other discussions?
Is this limited to a few pages or is this actually, should it be further?
It's whatever.
Well,
I mean,
I would like to see them in depth because
Yeah.
what Kathy's saying is true.
Can I suggest, though, if you're going to do a training like manual for somebody, you can't write 50 paragraphs, okay? You're going to have to put the task, what your goal is, what your budget is, or,
Right.
you know, it should be like 5 steps on how to throw a dance or something
Simple.
like that.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
it's
see a real problem with certain positions, but when you get into maintenance or the chair's
That's-
positions, it's going to be
Yeah.
difficult, but you can still put together some kind
You
of a
can.
guide.
Mine's kind of
Yeah.
easy, just see Bill.
See,
But you know, I mean, and but Bill has all the institutional knowledge.
Yes.
He's a walk-in trailer estates library, but God forbid if Bill's not here. I think we rely on this a lot. I used Joe Salerno's notes, which I found, and he had a step-by-step, he had a timeline of when he did everything, when to start, what to do. I still use that. Now, how many years ago was that? But there wasn't a whole lot between Joe's departure and when I started. And I think having it in a binder is just one thing versus a lot of other stuff. You know what I mean? You can add to it, take away from it. And it's up to you how you want to do it. We're all individual. We all do things a different way. We have different organizational styles. But for me, knowing I'm giving the next trustee, this is like a gift. Because it's tough. We've all been there. We've all had that deer in the headlights look. So.
well, that was one of the reasons we started switching to the 2-year term to a 3-year term is specifically for
That's right.
that. I don't have a problem with mandating that we establish a guide. Your guys' input, you all agree with that or not?
Yeah,
Lewis?
good idea.
So one of the things,
Dwayne?
Mary, go ahead, Lori.
Go ahead, Laurie.
I just was going to say, Mike Sansone had started this press, and so there might be something in some of his old files because he had asked all the trustees to do this back, during his time frame.
Mm-hmm.
I went back and checked and I couldn't find anything on it, but I don't see where we can't start anew.
Right. No, I don't disagree. I was just thought we could try to speed up the process by having a leaping off point if we'd already done it. And that's fine.
Lewis?
One of Mary
I
left,
was just offering that.
Mary left a like a critical path, dates that, by this day you have to certify the tax roll, by this day, and that's proven to be pretty invaluable. And I think that should be a path in any of them. I would suggest
I
that,
like
that
that.
not only how you do it, but start off with,
Mm-hmm.
these are the can't miss dates. And I thank her for leaving that for us, because
Mm-hmm.
it's helped already.
Okay, if there's no other comments on it, what I'd like to go do is go ahead and approve this. I don't think it needs to come for a vote, but I would like to see this guide established before the December 5th election. So if we have new trustees that come in, that at least they would have something in place. And that'll give you a couple of months. Well, November, a couple of months to have it developed. Do we have to bring this back to the board? I don't think we do. I think I'd just
I
like
think
to
you can just
see
tell us to do it.
do it.
I think my only concern is
So-
mine's still evolving a little
Yeah.
bit because of how
Mhm.
close it works with Lee. And I think all of them are to some
Oh, yeah.
extent.
I say all these will be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of them are gonna go
Oh, yeah.
back. And in fact, why don't we go ahead and have this set before the December 5th election and turn the drafts into Lee for review.
Yeah.
Lori, you had something?
That was going to be my question. Was there going to be anybody that was going to look them over or anything like that? And so as soon as you said drafts to Lee, that solved that. Thank you.
Okay,
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair,
Mr. Morris.
by the way, Lori, are you on the phone, the new phone?
I am.
You sound great.
I love it.
I do too. Thank you so much for solving this issue.
Great. Okay, if there's no other discussion on that, please have your policies, procedure, your job procedures.
Yeah, maybe that's a better term. I don't know how to.
Manual 2. You're
Okay,
fired.
procedure. Okay.
Oh, don't do that. Yeah, you got to manual written. Yeah.
It's around the clock too, so it's hard to stop.
Have them in to leave before December 5th, the election, please. Okay, if there's no other discussion on that, let's jump to the second one, which is the salary benefits for the staff.
Okay. We went through the salaries and adjusted them for the 3% projected, the approved 3% increase on all the salaries, and put in the new rates for the healthcare insurance. And also the dental rates reflect that we've changed our dental coverage from Delta Dental to United Healthcare with the same, or with a better premium rate actually. And the total amount for the salaries, payroll taxes, insurance, $642,056.94 is against our approved budget for this year of $642,717. So it's within $700 of the budget. It's under the budget by $700. So
Under the budget.
Mary had projected, she had, put a placeholder in for an increase that came out pretty accurate.
Mhm.
I have one sidebar to this. So I asked people and I was never able to actually recover, but we talked about potential change to employee participation in premium payment. I cannot find anywhere what we agreed to. Now, this is based on the way we did it before, because short of a resolution that says change it, I didn't know what to do. So this is based on 100% payment of the employee's health care, 75% payment of their dependents.
I know.
Louis,
We
Remember the
talked about it.
discussion.
I know we did.
Lori?
I did some research for Louis, and I support his statement that we never voted on it. We talked about it. It was discussed as part of the budgeted, as part of the budget process. That's our intent going forward, but there was never any official action or vote on it.
Yeah, Lori and we talked about this, and Lori and I pretty much agreed that we talked about it
You did.
and said, yeah, that's what we want to do. And then we approved the budget as discussed, but we didn't formalize what we
that was.
discussed
Yeah. what
in
it
that
was.
part. And I think just going forward is something we need to be aware of. If we're going to change the way we do something, it needs to be formalized in a resolution. And I mean, if it's
Well,
gonna provide the
It's not a
guideline,
resolution.
pardon?
It's not a resolution.
It's just a motion.
Okay, that's
Have
fine.
a
I'm sorry.
motion.
You know, they have it done at the budget. You guys, when we do the budget, that's the issue.
Right.
Gotta give it. this the way.
Yeah. My mistake. I didn't mean.
Who's speaking, Dwayne? I can't hear them.
Lee.
That was Lee, and what we just said is, it doesn't have to be by a resolution. It just has to be by a formal vote, at the next, budget hearings.
Yeah, sorry, I misspoke on resolution there.
Right. And that's good. Are we having a problem with his microphone? Is this going to be an issue?
No, we just corrected. I think it was, not on.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Did you want me to reiterate what I was
That's-
saying? Lori?
Nope, I'm good. I just could hear a voice in the background and I couldn't make out what it was saying. And I understand now, so I'm golden. We're good. Thank you.
Lori, we all hear that voice in the background. Every day he's here.
Question on
Yeah,
the,
but do we listen to it?
on the contributions to retirement plan. What did we use to determine what that figure was that was going to go into that we were going to pay into their retirement plan?
Good question. I can't
Yeah, I
remember.
can
I
answer
can't
that.
remember what it says.
So this is called a simple retirement plan, and it's based on how much the employee provides against what Trailer Estates provides. And I believe it's like 3 or 4%.
It's like 3%.
Yeah, 3% is what it is, and it's handled by an outside company.
Well, I did notice that, no offense, Lee, but on the park managers is say 25,000.
Yeah, it's a little more than 3%.
Yeah, that's like 25%. So is that correct, or does that need to be adjusted? We know you're
I'm trying to
valuable.
remember
Lee.
what I put in the contract.
So I believe this was
It
in
was-
lieu
it
of
was-
benefits.
it
It was
was-
in lieu of benefits
Yeah.
for this amount to go into retirement. Because benefits would cost somewhere around 37,000 and change. And I elected to forego benefits, medical, dental, vision, and everything go into my retirement.
But I still think we approved the 3% just as across the board for performance.
3%.
Yeah, isn't that what we're doing here is 3%?
Oh, the salary increase?
All the other
Yes.
employees are 3%.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think
Oh.
that's the same as what my intent was back when I wrote the contract, but I put in there.
Then also, I think we ought to look at the bonuses. How are these bonuses given? And to what extent we came up with these amounts that they were given. Just to try to narrow those down. There are people here who have done a lot, just like the people who worked on the large hall and everything. And people who haven't done as much as far as doing something for the park that work here. Is there a schedule or something that we actually adopt, or how does that operate? How are these given? What are the merits of them?
Well, I'm going to speak for you if that's all right.
That's fine.
When the performance evaluations comes up, the manager, I'm sorry, the trustee as well as Bill have to sit down and decide who is entitled to that 3% or not. 0 to 3%. It doesn't have to be a 3% increase. That is the supervisor's decision to make what that employee is worth for a bonus.
I'm not denying.
I don't like the current performance evaluation form. I think those need to be changed for every employee. We'll look at that. In the future, because it's coming up, but no, but that's up to Bill as the manager and Todd as the trustee to determine a 0 to 3% and who gets that.
Okay.
And unfortunately for Bill, is a exempt employee.
Mm-hmm.
The 3% is about the only thing you can do for that position.
Yeah, this is just a budget. I mean,
Correct.
you don't have to give these out. It's covered in our budget.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so are we going to look at the retirement percentages too, or correct those, or do something with those? As far as like with Lee with the 25%?
Yeah, I'll look into that.
Okay.
Laurie, would you make a note of that I'll look into the 3% on Lee's position, park manager's position?
Yep, I'm scribbling the note right now.
Okay, any other discussion on the salary benefits? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item, which is the movie license renewal. Kathy?
Okay. Well, this has been discussed. And I wanted to put it on because I just don't want time just goes by here, and I don't want to be caught like last year where it renews and then we go, oh. So looking at approximately $2,500 to renew it. I was a huge proponent of the movie license, used it a lot last year. I thought it was wonderful. But I know there's quite a few residents that enjoy it, and it had served its purpose. It began during COVID. Beautification Committee at that time did get the license. Of course, the park paid for it, but it was used as a way to keep activities going through COVID. That was a rationale for it. Used it last summer. I think we showed maybe 15 or 18 movies during summer and in season. During summer, attendance has always been fleeting. It is, maybe at the most 20, at the least maybe 10 during summer. And I think that the time has come to let it go. My only rationale for this is that this money could be used for other activities that we just have to research. And it doesn't mean that we're not going to have something else. I'm not saying that at all. I mean, I love activities. I think you all know that. But by freeing up this money, maybe we can use it for something else that would be just as enjoyable and maybe have more people to be involved. That's just my personal opinion. So
I had feedback. I did not have the movie. I think 5 or 6 people came up to me.
Cindy, stop for a second. Is your mic on?
Yeah, I think I just had to turn around.
Hang on, Lori. She's adjusting her microphone.
There you go. Now try it. Do a test.
Thank you.
Oh, there you go.
You hear me, Lori?
Nope. Not at all.
Nope, I still can't.
Somebody else.
Here.
Teamwork. Teamwork.
Makes the dream work.
Yeah, I got feedback from 5 or 6 people. They were unhappy that there was not going to be a movie. I believe 2 of them had not been to a movie. So, a few people that told me they liked the movie because that's something they can plan to do. So they want an activity of some type. They really did not care if it was a movie or not. So, you know, they're hoping we can come up with something if that goes away, but I did get some negative feedback about canceling it.
Can I get clarification? The last time we talked about the licenses, I was kind of shocked that I heard 100 people were attending.
It was during
That's
season.
During season.
During season. But we
During
also,
the summertime, we have, of course, there's not
Yeah.
many
we should,
residents here.
yeah, during last season, of course, we showed the big one, Maverick, which was, thanks to a couple of people,
That was-
made it into a huge event. But that was also the movie.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, everybody came out because it was Maverick.
Mhm.
And we had good attendance, but I just look at the cost versus what else could we do with that money? That's the
And-
only thing that worries me is that, and we've looked at different licensing companies. There are several out there, and there are. I'm not saying MPLC is the only one, but MPLC licenses the major motion picture distributors. I think I'm saying that right. And if you go down to cheaper ones, maybe like $300 for a movie, which is what they charge. But you have like, they may be all Disney movies, or they may be all this movie. You can get one that the churches use, because I think Covenant Church did have a movie license, but that was for Christian-based movies. So they're out there. But what you get is a limited scope. And it's all about a copyright law. It's all about copyright. And yes, we could find movies that are out of copyright and they're older, but will people come? And I will tell you, someone that's done this, finding movies is not easy. I mean, if you've done it, you know, it's not easy. I mean, I would spend hours last summer on Amazon and researching movies to try to find people that people would come.
So is there an easier way for the trustee to not be daunted with this decision every time a movie comes up, spending their time to do that? Is there some solution to a better form of entertainment that you're talking about?
Could be. I mean, but I can only go by summer attendance and activities. I know that we've had concerts where very few people come, and they were wonderful concerts, and they were free. Food, people will come.
So could we can actually fulfill this contract with this company whenever we want to. It doesn't have to be pressured on us now.
No,
thought it was
it's due for renewal,
It's
I
due.
think, before December.
I think
And I
so.
think it's
December
November
12th, I
to
think is
December 12th.
the new
Yeah.
And it's what, a 60
license.
day,
So you gotta have 2 months,
60 day.
at least
yeah.
2 months prior.
So we're getting into that time where we should make a decision. And I know that for some folks here, this is really a big deal. And I get it. I was that person last summer because I did it and I really enjoyed it. But the big picture is $2,500 that could be applied to a few more activities, maybe more people could participate in. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I agree. I think it's kind of outdated these days. I know most people can stream it at home, you know, so I just think it's outdated for what we can do. And the few that said they really wanted to go to an activity, I asked them to be volunteers to figure out what we could plan next, you know? And I think that's the way we go. We just pull more people in and have them
Mm-hmm.
supply it for us. So,
Well, if these were movies that were like
only in the, movie
Yeah.
theaters or something like
Mhm.
that? Is that what you're saying? You
Mhm.
could do that?
I mean, well,
I think
I
that
mean,
might make a bigger difference on people coming. I don't know, but.
and during season, I mean, I think we showed, there were 3 current movies. And again, it was a good crowd, but it's also during season. During season, you could do anything and people will come because it's part of what happens. It's just, they get into a thing and, I don't know. It's really a board decision. It's part of the seasonal rec budget and money's been allocated for it, so it's there if we choose to renew it. But it's, if you look at it for 12 months of movies, for how many folks are going, I just don't know if it's worth the cost.
So are you doing PG-13 or tamer?
I choose to.
And
I-
that's what I did.
I really choose to. I watch every movie that I've shown, I've watched and I've screened, and some of them I've chosen not to show because I'm afraid I'm going to offend someone. And this is a park and rec district, and I'm not going to put anybody in that situation.
Yeah.
I won't. I haven't done, Disney per se, but because we're all adults and we can handle some language, but there's a certain thing I don't like to cross.
Why don't we take it off the plate for right now, so we're not dealing with it, and we'll come back to it.
No, I can't.
But we have 2
Can't.
months.
Coming
We've
up.
got
No, I
60
mean-
60 days to get this,
No.
renew it or not.
That's what I'm saying. Why don't we see what else we can do and not jump right into this contract and see what else we can
Well-
do, and then.
Well, let me make a comment. And Lori, I want to have a point of clarification here also. This topic is on the workshop, but I see nothing for a vote to go on the board meeting itself.
That would be because it really doesn't require a vote. This is Kathy's budget, and we don't oversee what Ask Kathy books and that sort of stuff. So she's just asking for our input to help her make a better, more informed decision. But the bottom line is it's her decision.
Okay, great. Make your decision.
No, she's asking for board. She's asking for board input. Kathy,
Okay.
I for one support releasing the license. If we decide it's a bad decision, we can always come back next November and sign up for the MPLC license and start a new contract. It may be more expensive if we drop it for a period of time, but it's not like it's gone forever.
That's kind of what.
Well, I guess I'm in agreement with Kathy. I'd also think that there's more popular items that we could be doing, functions that we could be doing during the summertime and use that $2,500 somewhere else.
A lot of free food.
We can't use the budget for that, Russell, but nice try.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? And it sounds like we're going to drop.
So I'm at liberty to do the letter
Drop
and
the
everything.
2,500, I'm sorry,
Okay.
the license.
Okay.
And you'll make sure the notification goes to that company before the 60 days.
Okay.
And then who is going to look into the other activities to replace the movies?
We will.
Okay,
Just a point of clarification, when I talk to the gal, make sure you not only send her a hard copy, but email her to make sure that it gets there so we don't get stuck with the contract again.
Can do. Thank you.
okay. Next item up is the update PP21, the rates for the boat slips. Todd?
Excuse me. Okay, so the next page there shows them the changes. Basically, the cost per foot, that's irrelevant now. That's what we based it off of originally whenever we set the rate. And then, so then it'll have the updated ones. That's basically all there is. It reflects this standard 5% increase that we put in every year.
Todd?
No, I
Oh,
go ahead. I was going to ask the question is the PP 38 is saying to discuss the changes to PP 21, the rates, boat slips to remove the 3 months, add the 10%. For the add a 10% handling fee for the 6 month leases.
That's where I was going next. The paragraph on the top shows all of that.
Okay, and then calculate the annual increase, which we don't have to do because that was already previously decided in a budget hearing. And then the waiting list. I didn't look at the PP 21. I wished I would have. But on the top paragraph there for your boat slips, it says up the third line down, it says if the offer is accepted, the $100 deposit will be applied to the first lease amount.
Right.
Is it really an offer? Aren't we just going to say
I have a slip open. You're on the waiting list. Come get it. If they don't, then they lose the $100. If they do take the slip, then
well,
it's applied towards.
I like where you're going with this, and I think it's really needed. But it's really not an offer. If you're on the waiting list, you put your $100 down, and it's either for 6 months or the year. What I would think, or what I would suggest is just start off. The $100 deposit will be applied to the first term's lease, because it's really not an offer.
right.
Okay.
And then the second thing I was really kind of looking at is I like getting rid of the 3 month lease. But the second thing is we've always offered a 6 month and a year. And I think that we should have already included the administrative fees in the boat slip rates to cover what you're calling the 10% increase. To me is just kind of pushing everybody to a year's lease. And if that's the goal, then let's drop out the 6 months altogether also.
The goal is to keep the office from doing twice the work. That's the whole point of it.
Understood.
But if they insist they only want a 6 month lease, then that's fine. Then the office, they're just paying the additional for the amount of work the office is doing.
But I think that's a penalty because we should have already included 2 checks a month, or at that time 4 checks a month at 3 months. But
there was no difference in the pay. It was the same all the time. The office was just doing the work. That's the only reason for making it the difference.
I just
So
feel
you're
it's,
saying
I
include that
feel
in
it's a
that-
penalty, and since we're offering 6 months in a year, I don't care if it's to process 1 check or 2 checks, it should have been included in the rate that we're proposing. And then when I looked at the slip rates, I guess, when did the board approve a 50-foot slip?
When we were doing the marina bit down there, we put the 150-foot slip in because we can't put the other 24-foot docks in without going through FWC and permitting and all that.
That wasn't the decision. I remember the prior treasurer bringing to the board that it was a breach of contract between Trailer Estates and Innovation Marine. Remember that? With that, it was renegotiated by the board that eliminated the north 33 feet, approximate 33 feet, and then additional 70 something feet on the east side of the rate. And that took away about $12,000 away from Innovation Marine. Remember that?
Yep, I remember that.
At that time, if I remember the discussions, the 50-foot slip was only going to be a one-time summer usage for one person because the marina was going to be done. If I go back to look at the minutes, it was proposed with that breach of contract to put other slips in there, regardless of going back to getting the permits and all that stuff, because we were going to generate the same amount of money of taking 12,000 away from innovations. That money was going to come back into trailer estates.
Whether it be a 50-footer or
No,
individuals?
there was no discussion of a 50-foot.
Yeah, I don't
It
remember
was
that either.
since,
We weren't actually talking about making that one slip.
nope.
It was individual slips that started the whole program.
But the whole issue of that contract was to put additional slips, pay whatever it was going to cost to put 3 other slips in, generate that money, whatever the rate was going to be. The payback for those slips was going to be 2 to 3 years, if I remember right.
It was
then
2 to 3
that rate was-
payback just to pay for the docks.
Yeah.
I don't know what the permitting, all that stuff was.
But that's just in part of the job itself. But there was no approval for a 50-foot, and I'd like to go right back to where we were going to put the slips in to have additional slips instead of one 50-foot slip that may or may not be used.
Well, have we already set up our new seawall to handle the water and the electricity for these these other docks instead of one dock?
No, nothing's there for that.
No,
So we'll
but
have,
that was the purpose of the board going back and renegotiating that contract, is to build additional slips to generate the money back to the park and not Innovation Marine.
right.
In fact, I thought the discussion was to lease those out to non-residents to get a higher rate, since it was just an additional 4.
I don't remember any of that, but I know we made the 150-foot slip, and then there's another 30-foot slip across the end.
But that was only for a seasonal, and that was this season, since the marina was going to be repaired or replaced.
See, that part of it, I don't remember any of that at all. I know
Like,
we discussed it, and actually there was another 24-foot slip that was added also on the end. So we've added one 24-foot slip, and then we've added the 50-foot slip and then the 30-foot slip.
well, the 124.
I guess it was my understanding.
Foot slip was already there. That was the very next one to slip 1.
How many?
Correct, because it
how
was the
many
other side of the
Then
dock.
it was only going to be 2 more slips, because that would be 4 slips at 24 foot. And if it's not going to accommodate a 24 foot, let's make them 20s or 22s to accommodate that, to have the revenue come back instead of 150-foot slip at $1,323.
Has this 50-foot slip
year.
person signed
Yeah, they've got a lease for now, the 1-year lease, which was, I'd have to look when it was signed, a couple, 3 months ago.
So meanwhile, we can put this in the budget for building these slips, which we haven't ever done that, have we?
No, that would have to come up in the 23-24 budget. Yeah, and that's where I think it should go. But I'm gonna have to come right out. I don't like reserving a 50-foot slip for one resident in the park. Yeah, to me, that just galls me. And should he sell his boat or not come back, then we have a 50-foot slip that we're gonna sit there empty.
That's kind of taking a big gamble of the dice on one person. When we could do the others and actually increase.
Well, I mean, you can convert it to 2 24s, but
But you're actually gaining 3 more slots and a corner. Is that correct?
Well, yeah,
you got 3 more.
The north end still has, that's a 33-foot slip that is just sitting vacant, right?
Mhm.
The end one? It's rented.
At the north end?
Correct. There's just no boat
That's
in it right
rented?
now. It is rented.
Okay,
The only slips I have open right now are 20-foot slips. And there's a guy coming today for 126 and another 24.
And so if we had these other slips available, we could have more people in there. And not worry about whether this 50-footer leaves or not.
That was the intent of the Board of Trustees when, you know, it was called a breach of contract
with innovations.
to add the board had decided to add additional spaces.
Right.
And it was an agreed that the 50-foot slip would be a one-time seasonal until the marina was replaced or repaired. So my recommendation is to put the slips in there like it was originally planned and not leave 150-foot slip.
I guess the first step there is to see if FWC will allow us to put them back in. I will investigate that.
I have a question on the waiting list. If I come up number 1 on the waiting list and I paid my $100 to be on the waiting list, and I'm not ready to use that slip, or in the case of the lot rentals, the same thing. You're saying that I will be eliminated, will not get my $100 back. Why aren't we moving that person to the bottom of the waiting list? Because if we knock them off to get on the waiting list again, we're going to say, hey, you need another $100 deposit.
I have in the past done that. I've got, matter of fact, there's one person on there now that I've called probably, I'm going to guess 4 to maybe 5 times, and they're not ready. And it saves the dock master a lot of phone calls. And kind of part of this as we go on, if they don't have a boat that can be measured and ready, then I have no intent of putting them on the waiting list.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the whole point.
That's a lot of the problem.
So-
When I got the waiting list was probably, I'm going to say 60, 70 names long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And when I started going through it, I called every single one of these people. Half of them didn't even have boats. They just said, oh no, I heard it's going to be a long time. I want to get on there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. That's just, I sat there about 2 days, every bit of 2 days, calling people and waiting for people to call me back to verify what they had on the list and all that. And that's what I'm trying to eliminate.
Okay.
If they don't have a boat, they don't get on the waiting list.
So I
That's-
mean, even the situation is if they don't have a boat today, but they say, well, I'm in the process of buying one, you can go ahead and lease the lot starting
Nope. As soon as they have the boat and it gets measured, and it's, matter of fact, I went through it this weekend already. Guy showed up, says, he called and said, I'm getting on the waiting list. I want to get on the waiting list. I got a 19-foot-6 boat. Well, when he got over here, it was a 26-foot boat
Oh.
because it had an anchor sticking out the front, a setback on the motor, plus a jack plate, and the motor tipped up. Yeah, it was a 19-foot-6 boat, but the whole thing was just over 25 foot. So he needed a 26-foot slip. And I had to say, sorry, I don't have a slip. I can, go away.
Yeah,
So I
don't
moved
have an
him
issue
to
with
I moved him to the 26-foot list, but that's the best I could do.
So are you saying not only you have to pay $100, but you have to have the boat
Have the boat,
to get on the list?
have the boat, have it measured, so we know what you got. And then whenever we call somebody, they'll be ready to do it.
Kind of a
And
catch-22.
It is a
It is.
catch-22. We've talked about the
Yeah.
boat slip rates and stuff all the way back. It is
Yeah.
a catch-22. To get on the waiting list,
Yeah.
to eliminate that of 50, 60 people, what we used to have.
Yeah.
Put $100 up.
I agree with the
and go
$100
with that,
completely.
but
Mr. Chair, if you continue to move people from the top of the list to the bottom of the list, then to get new people to come onto the list is almost impossible
mhm.
because the list never changes.
Mhm.
And that's a disservice to people calling and say, I'll never get into this because there's a 60-person waiting list. So moving the guy from the top of the list to the bottom of the list every time he gets called is disingenuous to Trailer Estates.
Mhm.
So that's why I support this, that we need to get some movement on the list. And it will also make the list a little bit smaller, that when potential people that want to bring their boat in, that have a boat, when they're called, it gets done.
Mhm.
I mean, I agree with if you got a boat, you can get on the waiting list. If you don't, sorry about your luck.
And then, I mean, this weekend again, also on a 24-foot slip, I had a guy, he's a park resident. All right. Well, I got to call park residents first. Okay. So I called him. He didn't want to slip. He's not ready. Put me at the bottom of the list. Well, because he's a park resident, there is no more list. He was the last one. So I removed him from the list and I went to an outside resident, which is coming today to take the slip. So, I mean, I just,
What do?
you just, I ended up making a bunch of phone calls
Nobody.
and get nowhere.
Yeah. Well, of course, when they get on the waiting list, if they don't give you a valid phone list, sorry, or phone number, sorry about their luck.
Well, the other problem you have is once you call them and leave them a message, you got to wait 2 days, for them to call you back. And then some of them just don't call you. So, you get back down there and take them off the list. And then they call you 3 months later and say, hey, I was on that list. How do you verify that stuff?
Yeah.
So, and I document everybody I take off the list. It goes onto another list and when they're removed. So we know that, but
So would it be easier for you to get emails from these people and document the emails and stuff
I mean,
instead of calling?
I've worked out a lot of problems by calling people and talking to them.
Right, right.
So, I mean, I'm all right with calling them. I don't want to have to make 50 calls to rent one
But
slip.
your predecessor might not do it the same as you.
And that's fine. They can change that. But what works for me is calling them and physically talking to them. It seems to be able to work out a lot of problems right there.
One other thing on no, maybe it's the next item.
So-
With the $100 deposit, how is the $100 deposited in our accounts here and how is it held? And if they want their money back, what's the procedures for that?
Basically, there's no refunds if they put a deposit in. I don't know how it's held in the office. That would be a question for Lewis, but the way that I see it, if they get on the list, I mean, if they get on the list, then, you made it on the list, you've done everything you need to do. And then whenever they refuse it, then it's gone. If they decide,
So if they refuse it, they forfeit their $100?
correct,
Does that say that in that policy?
yes, right on the very last line of the very first page there. If the applicant cannot be reached, they forfeit their $100. Trailer Estates will make a good faith effort to contact the person at the top of the waiting list using the phone number provided by the applicant.
Okay, with the forfeiture of the $100, if the person takes out a 6-month or a year's lease and they pull their boat, trailer, whatever, from the storage lot or the slips, and it's like 8-9 months in, do they get their remaining rental or does they forfeit that? We had that problem once before, and I'd like to get that clarified.
I do not believe that they get their money back.
But it doesn't.
I'm not exactly sure what the
say that
policy.
in the policy.
I'm not sure what the policy is on the office giving refunds on slips because I don't handle the money part of it.
But well, I guess what I'm trying to say is if we're not going to allow, say a person rents their slip for 9 months and they have, I'm sorry, for the year, and they want to pull their boat out of the 10th month, do they get their 2 months refunded or not?
In my opinion, I don't believe they should.
But that, again, it's your opinion, but it needs to be in black and white here, and it probably should be. If you.
Dwayne, hang on just a second.
I'd have to read that section of the lease.
And then again, if we're doing that kind of a lease, I would almost suggest that we have our district's council take a look at that to make sure that we're able to have them forfeit.
I may be able to add some clarification to that. I believe the termination of the lease goes if they give 30 days notice to terminate the lease,
It does.
then they are eligible to receive whatever a refund for the prorated amount less 30%. And that's under termination of lease. If I can read it to you, it says district may remove the vessel from the space or chain lock the boat and retain possession of lease space. Lessee may receive a prorated refund of rent already paid for the unused months beyond the minimum left on the lease minus a fee of 30% of the prorated refund. So we have recently given out, a person gave us 30 days notice. When he had 2 months left, we took the total amount of the 2 months and took 30% off of that and gave him the balance.
Okay.
I thought the purpose of a lease was you're committing to the, and what's the difference between a lease and a rental?
I'm not aware of any difference.
I thought a rental meant it was like month to month, and a lease meant you committed to the term.
Okay. Damn it.
Was that me?
I don't know. I want to go back to that termination of lease. God dog it. What it says is that should a breach of this agreement,
Where you at?
termination of lease,
Okay.
it said, should a breach of this agreement or violation of the rules and regulations occur, the lease agreement may be terminated. The leasee given notice in writing and advised that they must remove the boat immediately. If that occurs, then they can get a 30% back. It's not saying if you want to come in and just pull your boat and slip out without a breach of contract, you can get a prorated back. So to me, that's not defining that. That's just a breach of contract.
First of all, I agree with you 1,000%, but I got to tell you that if there's a breach of the lease, we shouldn't be giving any refund out.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So I
That's
do,
what I was
so I
heading with
do
this.
think we need to rewrite this
Correct.
to say what we mean.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was heading with this. Because
So-
it's two different things.
So once this PP 23 is rewritten and the spelling and everything's corrected in it, then we can bring that back to where we could actually have a real write-up of it.
Yeah, if the board.
What's 23?
What we're talking about, but it's PP 21, I
Well,
think,
yeah.
not 23.
No, 21 is the storage lot.
Yeah, I
rate.
was gonna,
23.
Well, 21 is the boat slips,
Right.
and then 22 is the storage lot, and 23, I forgot what the hell.
And can I ask a quick?
no, no. Sorry, you're getting your numbers, hosed.
23.
Our
One-
says 23.
23 is the contract for the storage lot space.
Yeah, that's a store. So 21,
PP 21 is boat
Boat
slip
slips.
rates.
Mhm.
PP 21A is storage lot rates. PP 22 is dock rental agreement, and PP 23 is storage space lease.
right.
And I'm gonna ask a question which may or may not muddy the waters, and it may be in this lease agreement. But do we have anything that covers hurricane damage? Do we have anything if a boat, if this has happened just
It's any
recently?
damage is covered.
Any
That's why
damage?
they have to have insurance. I mean, that's
Okay,
one thing, one more thing I'd like to see in the lease is basically, if we have a named storm, boats
Mhm.
must be removed from the marina. I worry about that because you see what damage we
Yeah.
got in the marina
Mhm.
from the last
Right.
storm. Now there was 23 boats left in there. Out of those 23, I believe there was only 3, maybe 4 of them that actually have trailers. So that puts us at 18, 19 boats that don't have trailers
Mhm.
and can't be removed. So that's a whole nother issue to
right.
talk about at a later date, but I really think that if we have a named storm, all boats should be removed from the marina.
Does their private insurance cover damage to the dock?
Mhm. Yeah, you have to have 100 and 300,000 to cover that
Okay.
Liability insurance.
liability.
dock.
insurance.
Yeah, here it is. This.
So I mean, the dock will be repaired and will be repaired by their insurance, but it's still, the dock is messed up for,
Yeah.
until I can get somebody in here.
Right.
And if it's a big storm, that could be a long time.
Mhm. And people who have boats there cannot get to the boats in a safe manner.
Does that mean that you have to have a trailer to get a slip in trailer estates? To get a boat slip?
No, because there's
No.
companies that'll come and remove your boat for you.
Mhm.
What do they do with them?
They'll storm in a
They'll
lot
storm it
somewhere.
at their lot.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
In fact, the last I heard is Innovation had a pontoon trailer and was willing to pull
Mhm.
a pontoon boat out of here at
Mhm.
whatever the rate that they were
Right.
going to charge, and that
Mhm.
individual decided not to go with that and just having that same pontoon as the
Mhm.
one that tore up the dock.
Mhm.
I have to talk to him because Chuck told me they weren't gonna do that anymore, but I'll have to talk
Oh,
to Chuck.
did they?
I have to talk to Chuck to confirm that because I was told that Chuck's boss said they are gonna do it, but Chuck said they didn't. So I don't know. I need to find out for sure.
But we need to backtrack just a little bit. We were talking about the, whether you refund the money or not. Are we discerning between the breach, between terminating the contract, willfully saying, I sold my boat, I'm not gonna be here? Is that a difference than you broke the rules?
Correct.
So because they're talking, in the termination of the
Right.
lease, it talks about a 30% penalty to the prorated amount. You know, the lease agreement is in the board meeting minutes.
Well-
So
I'm sorry, I'm lost.
It's on the.
Yeah, there's a,
Dwayne?
Yeah,
All right, I'm sorry. I have all these documents spread all over my desk and I'm just so terribly confused.
me
I
too.
don't know how anybody else is following it. Can we deal with boat slip rates, PP 21, deal with it in its entirety and then put it to bed and then go to whichever one you guys want to pick on next and beat it up until we're done and then go to the next one? Because trying to spread across all these documents is just really a nightmare for me to try to follow what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's just the way that PP 38 was written up. You have 3-4 different things on there, and that's where we started off.
well, that's all.
So
Right, but
let's take off with the boat slips on PP 21A. The
20 boat
I'm
slips
sorry,
are 21.
Yeah, I'm sorry, PP 21. And the first one, it says there's a boat slips to remove the 3 months lease. Is everybody in agreement with that?
Yes.
Yes,
and it contains the 10%.
Yes.
correct.
For less than a year. Okay.
No, I have a problem with that 10% for writing 2 checks per year. That to me should be included in part of what we're offering is the
Already.
6 months or a year.
It is. It's in these rates, isn't it?
No,
Yeah, it is.
it's a 10% handling fee for 6 months leases. So for the office to do that, we wanted it to write 2 checks. It's being proposed that we charge an additional 10%.
Yeah, but the 10% is in these published rates.
It's in these rates that
If
are in
it's
here. yes.
approved,
If it's
if
approved.
it's
yeah.
approved.
Why don't we approve
And
it?
I'm not wanting to approve that. I think it's a penalty to the resident just because we're offering a 6 months and a year's lease. It shouldn't matter how many checks you have to write or cash. To me, it's just a penalty.
Yeah, but you're like reducing paperwork and you're making them
Yeah,
think about.
and that's
let's
what
have
I
a
said
12-month
earlier
thing.
is if that's the intent, then do away with this 6 month and just go strictly a year.
I don't
And
see
then
it as
you're only dealing with one price rate. You're not worrying about all the checks and everything else. So
And they're gonna be reimbursed anyway
And
if they
yeah.
come up and decide to change their mind.
Well, that didn't, if you're gonna make it so half of them are getting reimbursed, you didn't solve anything.
no, they're
Still
not
give it
getting
money.
real.
Because it's still paperwork.
I don't understand why you think it's a penalty. I mean, everything I buy, I get it cheaper if I buy more of it.
Correct. And that's what I'm saying. You're going to charge me an additional 10% to whatever the established rate is now, because I'm taking out a 6% because the office is going to have to process 2 checks, which I think is unfair.
I don't have a
So what we're
problem
doing
going.
is you're penalizing those people with 6 months when we should just push it all to, if you want to slip in or a storage lot, we're going to go to 1 year's lease totally and do away with 6 months also.
So just have a 6-month rate and say if you buy 2 of them, you get a 10% discount. I guess I don't understand why you think you shouldn't pay more per month at 6 months than 12.
Well, then reword it as a
Everything is-
10% and just increase the rate by 10%.
But
Don't say anything, just
That's what they
But it
did.
is.
Don't say anything
No,
about
it's
any
it's a
discount.
handling fee is what I'm reading here, not just raising the rate by 10%.
No, it's
for
just raising the rate
6%.
by 10% for the 6 months.
But
That's
you-
all.
You put handling.
But you
fee.
got handling fee in there.
Mhm.
Oh, I
And-
agree.
and
Just
I
take it
don't-
out. Make the rates
Take out the
reflect what we
handling fee,
want.
that's fine.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just make the rates what you want them and take the handling fee part out.
Right.
Mhm.
I get you
Okay,
now.
so if
I
that's
see
what we're
now.
gonna do is we're gonna just increase the 6 months by 10%
Right.
of the current rate.
Mhm.
Correct. That's all I was asking.
Okay,
So will it be 10%
Sorry that,
and 5%?
So your
yeah,
5%.
the 5% has already
It's
been
across the board.
approved.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so it's just
an annual increase
Okay.
for whatever cost. And then the last item, I'm sorry, the 5% doesn't even need to be voted on since that's already been approved prior
right.
in budget hearings.
Mhm.
And the $100 waiting deposit, I have no problem with that. I think it's a good idea.
Because all we're doing is increasing 10% and putting
Mhm.
on the $100 deposit,
Right.
Mhm.
10%.
Okay,
every month.
okay,
Now,
so
go ahead, Laurie.
on PP 21, when we're all done with the discussions, this is what I have. In the square at the top of the page, we're scratching off the statement, the portion that says, if the offer is accepted. That's being removed.
Mhm.
The rest of the document is standing as is. We're going to open discussion on the 50-foot slips, but for right now, there is a 50-foot slip and this is the rate.
No.
Is that a true story?
No,
It's the
no,
next one.
there
It's
was
in out of
never a
order.
vote to have a
boats
50-foot
are
Out of
slip.
order.
Good
But she's
story.
saying right now, there's one already in there. We're gonna bring that up
No.
after he finds out whether we can even do it.
No. When did the board approve a 50-foot slip? Never.
Obviously, he's in there. There's a boat being leased to put in there.
I
But that
talked
was-
to Dwayne about putting one in.
That's a side agreement. While the marina was being repaired, we couldn't go through and put the slips as what the board had originally directed. So there was a side agreement,
Mhm.
since we couldn't do that, that this individual had a 44-foot boat or something like that. And for the season, that was an agreement.
Okay.
There
And Lori's
was
saying-
nothing approved by the board for a 50-foot
No, but
slip.
Lori's saying this 50-foot is in there, so if I'm not mistaken. And then, so right now, she's trying to rewrite this as it is, and then come back and address the 50-footer after the information is found out whether we can do it or not. Is that correct, Lori?
Yes.
She's trying to rewrite this first.
I'm just trying to figure out what the PP 21 is supposed to look like when we're done with this discussion. And I just need to know, is that 50-foot slip at the bottom staying on here because it exists as it is today? Or am I scratching it off?
But didn't I see something in the PP 21A that we're eliminating boats over 30 foot or?
That's eliminated out of it. We
Hang on.
have
Well,
33
So
foot
well,
you
now
you
you
too.
can't have both.
No, she was just.
right,
removing it out
I
of the-
understand. We'll put that statement back in when we get to that document.
That statement's not
If
correct
we
anyways,
remove,
and I don't know where it is in here at the moment, but we do have 33-foot slips already in there.
Well, we have 30
it was,
slips that can accommodate up to 33 and we're not charging 33-foot slips.
Right, they're all charged as 30-foot slips.
on page 6 of 6 of the lease, which is PP 22. I'm just checking it, yeah. On page 6, item M is where it says no boat over 30 feet in length will be allowed.
It was taken out.
That was the recommendation. But again, I'm still trying to just get through PP 21.
Okay, let me do this
try to wrap this thing up. We've approved the removal of 3 months lease.
Mhm.
We're going to take out the handling fee of 10% and just increase the 6-month rate to include the 10%.
Right.
5% is, it has already been
Already been
approved.
voted
That
on.
doesn't have to be discussed at all.
Right.
And the $100 deposit has been approved.
Right.
But you still haven't told me what I'm doing with the 50-foot slip at the bottom of the fee schedule.
Kind of like John.
My
I just need to know, leave it or
recommendation-
take it out.
My recommendation is to take that 50-foot slip out since there was no approval by the board
John B.
and leave it as the farthest that we have is a 30-foot slip.
I agree.
Fine, remove that and I'll do the research to find out whether we can actually even put anything else in.
Right.
So we're taking it out.
Okay, yay, I think I know what I'm doing with PP21.
And then up at in the top of the PP21, you're going to remove if the offer is accepted and it's just going to be the $100
Yes.
deposit will be applied to the term.
Will be applied, yep.
And then just a minor modification on the last page, page 1 of 2, page 2. It just says the board secretary is to fix the width. I just need to have that width taken out there, or it's not reading right.
Okay, hang on just a second. Let me look at what it says.
Just to fix the tax figure.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't, does it?
Yeah.
Yep, I see what you're saying. I can do that. That's no worries.
Okay, any other discussion? Oh, okay, let's head for the next one then. That is
Yay.
update PP21A, the storage lot rates. Todd?
That's pretty much the same thing. Except there's no 50-foot been added, it's already in there. Mine's backwards, so,
Let's,
Yeah, they're out of order.
They're out of order.
yeah, they're out of order.
So,
So
so in other words, we're just,
on that one is all we're removing is the square footage one, and then they made the other same changes to the top paragraph.
Yeah, remove if the offer is accepted.
so what I'm saying was we're going to remove the dollars per foot. Make the change on the if the offer is accepted. Remove the 10% handling fee.
10% fee, we're
remove
removing
wording on
handling
handling
fee.
yeah.
Right.
And increase the 6 month by 10%.
Dwayne? I'm sorry, I gotta go back to the PP21.
Okay,
That width needs to be in that sentence because it says board secretary is to fix the with tax figure displayed as needed. I'm not allowed to change the tax figure. I'm only allowed to change the with tax figure.
okay.
What does that mean?
Oh, sorry.
He brought it up. So correct that.
No, but what
So
does that mean?
Okay, back to 21A, sorry.
What's it is to fix the width?
Because it shows
Maybe what I,
untaxed
Oh,
with
and
tax.
with tax, without tax.
maybe what I need to do is put quotation marks around it like
Yeah.
it is at the bottom of 21A.
That would probably make it
Yeah.
clear.
That will make it make more sense.
I see it.
I'll just add the quotation marks.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Or maybe the word included, would that be better?
Included.
Included? No.
What?
Instead of
tax.
with, could it be included instead?
I
Be
don't
tax included rates?
well, I guess
I
I'd
can
have to
change- I
ask the
could-
question, why don't we just include the tax and take out, just make every price tax included.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
could be
And
too.
you
Yeah.
just have one rate
Right.
out there and this is what you gotta pay.
right.
Thank you.
There you go.
Just make it simple
Yeah, get away from this. and
because
put-
All
everything,
right, so,
right? So there's no with and without, everything's taxed.
Tax included.
well, all right, does that muddy the water? Should Florida state change their tax rate from 6.5 to, let's say, either 6 or 7? I'm adjusting the dollar figures with no basis to work from.
Be a current tax.
I kind of like having a base price and then the taxes include, you know, what it is with the taxes.
We can have
So
that
that it's a clean
spreadsheet.
fix.
We can have that spreadsheet, so we have that number. It just, all we publish is the actual number with tax, including tax.
And so we prevent anybody that's a resident from verifying my math should they change the tax rate.
Tax rate's pretty easy to calculate.
That's all I'm asking is
I think
is
you're off.
we're eliminating their ability to proof my work. And I'm okay with that just so long as y'all know that's what's gonna happen.
Just
Yeah,
make
I-
it a flat rate.
Sure.
I think it's okay, Lori.
So you want the base price removed?
Yes. And just at the bottom,
Okay.
there, just so show that the current tax rate of Florida
Included.
taxes is 6.5% and may change.
Mhm.
All right, so we can just remove with tax and just says these rates are based on current Florida 6.5%.
Mhm.
You can
Okay.
just say it's the
I'm
price
going
of
back
the
to,
slip with tax.
Mhm.
They were doing a lot of paperwork there just for tax. Get taxed on everything anyway.
Get taxed on dying.
okay, so what were we doing? Changing that heading, taxes included, we're changing it to something else, is that what I just heard?
Base price includes tax.
Is that right?
Sounds right to me.
Okay, I've got that. And then at the bottom, we're still saying, these rates are based on current Florida tax rate of 6.5%, blah, blah. Okay, are we going backwards to PP 21 and doing the same thing?
I would think we should.
Mhm.
So I'm definitely all right with that.
Okay, so give me just a second to catch up to. All right, I'll make the statements at the bottom match what's on 21A that we just agreed to. And so I'm getting rid of. All right. Okay, I'm good. Thank you.
Are we charging the extra 10% for the 6 month on the storage lot? These rates aren't right.
Yes. Back to it.
What do you mean they're not right?
They don't reflect the 10% premium on the,
No, I think this is just the current rate you had in here now.
Yes.
And,
oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the current one.
Okay, sorry.
and then once this is approved, then the 10%. The only other question I have is
Okay.
when does the invoices go out for the billing of slips and storage lots? And when do we start charging the 10%?
October 1st.
No, it's,
November.
we've already sent out.
Right, 30
We've
days.
already sent out October's, I think.
Mhm.
You'll be able to start charging the 10% in November. Because we need 30 days to send out an
Right, that's what I'm
invoice
saying.
prior.
October 1st is when they start 5%.
We've already missed the October invoices have already gone out.
That's okay. So November.
Mhm.
Okay, any other discussion? Did we get that one? Hearing nothing.
I think so. Todd,
Go ahead.
you're gonna feed me the the 6-month rates with the additional 10%?
Yeah, I thought that's already done. The office had that and sent that to you, I thought, but I'll,
Somehow I didn't get, I missed it somehow.
all right, I'll make sure you get it.
Thank you.
Okay, update, next item is update PP 23, the storage lot lease.
Did we talk about 22 yet?
22,
That's the dock rental
That's the one we're
agreement.
doing
Yeah.
right now.
22 should be next, yeah.
22,
Yeah.
okay. First time out of line here.
All right, I have a question on 22. On the page 2 of 6, under rental rates, we say this agreement is for the use of a boat slip space only, and the right to use such slip space is not transferable.
Correct.
In the next, or the second sentence after that, if lessee desires to transfer the slip to another boat owner, it must request district consent in writing. Isn't that a conflict of what we're saying there?
I'm sorry, what page?
If
are
he
you-
desires.
Rob,
Page 2 of
oh, 2 of 6.
the second sentence says that the space is not transferable. The fourth sentence says if lessee desires to transfer to another boat owner, it must request district consent in writing. So we're,
That needs
Kind
to
of.
be removed.
Yeah, it says you can't do it, but here's how you do it.
Mm.
yeah, right. Because really that should be if a slip rental, if he doesn't want it anymore, it should go back to the top of the waiting list.
Mm-hmm.
So you want that sentence stricken from the lease agreement?
This is.
Everybody's
all
reading.
here.
When,
Would think
before
that's-
we,
I would think the fourth sentence should be struck. Because we're not allowing. Unless we change what the second sentence says.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it changes
Todd,
after the fourth sentence too.
Yeah, it's the whole thing.
All throughout.
Mm-hmm.
It says here, if you sell your boat, it's not grounds to terminate.
Right.
But we talk about prorating.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Can we get this one clarified
Yeah.
first?
Sure.
Because it does look like we're actually saying, no, you can't,
You
but
can't,
here's
but
how
you
you
can.
can.
I think this whole lease needs to be relooked at truthfully.
Well, that was my earlier comment, should
Right.
be looked at by the district's council to make sure we've got
Yeah,
everything approved. So
I support
That's a
that.
big yes.
Yeah.
if that's the consensus, I'd like to go ahead, well, with your permission, is withdraw this one and send it to the, rewrite it what you want and then send that to district's council.
Yeah, because we're actually gonna have to look through more of these PPs.
Yeah.
and check all that. So we have more rules that need to be looked at, along with looking at this one that are getting confused.
Well, just to clarify that, council does not need to look at all of our PPs. What they do need to look at is any lease agreements or any contracts that we have so that they're enforceable.
And I agree with that because the first thing I know of here is under the page 3 of 6, the sales of vessels. I didn't have time to check it, but I want to make sure that the provision of section 328.17 of the Florida statutes is still there because we did have to unchain, sell the guy's boat, and we went through hell trying to get that boat sold. So I just want to make sure that that's correct and it's still up to date.
Well, the only point of this one here with this lease of this PP was basically adding the $100 deposit
Mm-hmm.
part of it. As far as the rest of it, it needs to be looked at for
Yeah.
sure.
There's another item of correction on page 3 of 6 too of that. In the second paragraph, starting with all rates must be paid in advance. In the second line, you've got 3 months in there and that should be
Right.
6 months.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
3 months for district
Mm.
residents, 6 months.
Right.
I have a question about the intent. If you have a slit, let's say I have a 20-foot, 6-foot slip, but I got a boat that fits there. and I sell it and buy another one, I can keep the slip, can I, if it fits in the.
Yeah, it says that in there.
So the slip and the boat aren't tied together if I replace the boat with one that fits.
Correct,
Okay,
correct. But it must fit. That's
Gotta
the
fit.
key.
yeah.
Most people buy boats, they want to upgrade.
Yeah, most people don't buy another boat the same size.
Are you buying a boat? Is that what you're telling us?
Sometime, maybe.
Okay, so
What do you want to?
Todd, from what I'm hearing is you're going to rewrite this PP and then get with Lee to send that off to district's council for review and then bring it back at a later date. And just include that $100 liability. I'm sorry, $100 deposit.
I guess I'm confused because that's also on this one. And adding the slip assignments, yeah, for the $100 deposit. That's all this intent was to do, is to add that to it.
Well-
Then it was put in the no boat over 30.
Yeah, but the 3-month change,
Mhm.
taking out the third sentence on the first page of the.
Again, this
Yeah,
whole
going
thing
through
needs to
here.
be relooked at, and the whole lease needs to be looked at, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Are you gonna do it? Or am I gonna do it, or?
Well, I think the board needs to establish what the intent of the agreement is. Are we gonna let people, we're gonna refund their money if they want to pull out of the lease or not? I think we need to. Do we know what we really want? I mean, you can't rewrite it if you don't know what you want yet. That's my only concern. Because it seems
Change.
kind of unclear to me.
We,
It's,
I guess it's clear to me because I know what I want.
how about sharing it? What, you know,
Well,
what do you mean?
we just did. We're gonna take out the, first I'm wrong. Rod made the suggestion that we take out the, was it?
On page
line down,
2,
the-
if
the
Lacey
leasing
desires to transfer the slip,
Right.
that's gonna come out.
Yep.
Plus there's some after in the sentence
Yeah.
that follow that
Yeah.
have something to do with that.
what about the sentence that follows that?
Correct.
Can't we just approve the $100 deposit?
So that entire sentence goes away?
Yeah, if so, that whole sentence, if the leasing desires to transfer the slip all the way to to the period. And then
Yep.
the next
Okay, got
sentence,
it.
if the district consents.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that whole sentence.
That
has
goes
to
away.
Mhm.
Come out also.
So the next word after agreement is going to be current.
Mhm.
May I make a suggestion, Mr. Chair?
Sure.
I believe that there's gonna be a lot more changes to this lease
That's
than
what I said.
once it's reviewed by council.
Mhm.
If your intent is to have the rates go into effect November 1st, you need to do something at this board meeting. If not, then it would go into effect December 1st and you would do it then at the October 2nd or the 16th meeting and bring everything back.
Are we making this final when we're agreeing to this, only agreeing to the $100, or we're the rest of this is still open book?
That's what I said. The whole intent of this
Uh-huh.
PP was to add the $100 to it. The rest of it should be re-reviewed and brought back to the board at another point. And then we can decide what all needs to change and what doesn't.
I would probably suggest that you just
Table this.
you table this or withdraw it. I prefer withdraw and then let's rework everything the way it's supposed to be. Let's get district approval and bring it back. I think that would be the cleanest way. That way you'd be seeing what you're voting on,
Right.
Yeah.
which
kinda
I
hard
think
to
is
follow.
important at this point in time. There's too many changes to be clear.
We're shuffling too much paperwork.
Dwayne,
Yes.
the other thing to keep in mind is the statement at the top that was added about the $100 deposit, that's just a notice to them, but they've already paid that $100 deposit by the time they're signing a lease agreement. So this was just a nice to have it up there. It's not really affecting the lease agreement one direction or the other. So withdrawing it and bringing it back at a future meeting doesn't really impact the ability to charge that $100 deposit.
I'm not sure about that.
Actually, it actually should be a clause inside the
Mhm.
lease
Yeah.
and doesn't require to be a thing at the top. It just has to be a clause. Because you're absolutely right, Lori, it is gonna be paid for when the guy's already signing the lease.
Right.
I do think it just needs to be reworked. I don't think there's a way to salvage right now with all these changes.
We're just sitting here picking it.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
Wayne.
let's do
So
it the
what,
right
what
way.
I'd like to do, Todd, is if you would just withdraw
Yep, that's
this,
fine.
and then I will get with Lee and we'll just take the comments that we've made so far, removing that line, adding the $100, blah, blah, as a separate clause. And then we'll shoot that off to district's council and bring that back the December meeting for
Okay.
approval.
Just before we do that, though, just to make sure that we're clear on termination of lease. If there is a breach, what I'm hearing from you, and there is zero refund, malfeasance, anything, correct? If there's a termination of lease for sale of the boat or normal termination with 30 days notice, what say you?
Prorated.
Prorated at the remaining plus the 30% that's as a fee, or just prorated a refund?
Well, what's the board's,
Well,
what's the board's idea?
We need to pay
Because,
for the office.
Yeah,
well,
I say as-
Todd is saying, no refund whatsoever if you sell your boat and remove it with 2, 3, 4 months left, no refund. I don't think that's fair. I think it should be prorated down.
Yeah. And I think we ought to charge the administrator
Dwayne,
to process a
Agreed.
refund.
Yeah,
Right.
agreed.
Okay, Lori?
if we don't give somebody a refund, this is my opinion. If I have a boat slip and I have 4 months left on my lease and I know I'm not going to use it, but I'm not going to get my money back, where's any incentive for me to notify Trailer Estate so they can get it leased to somebody else?
Correct.
It's a
So
wash.
I think there
It's a
should
wash.
be, I think there
Totally
should be a prorated refund.
How about we continue on then with a prorated refund and 30% admin charge? They get some money back, but not all of it, and then we get to release the slip if they so
I'm
decide.
definitely fine with that.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
You okay with that, Lori?
Yeah, it works for me.
Great. So that item will be withdrawn. Okay, next item is update PP 23, the storage space lot. I'm sorry, storage space lease.
Which is pretty much the same thing. This one here should be also reviewed by council.
So are we doing the same procedure then? You're going to withdraw it and we'll shoot this off?
Well, yeah, I would.
Mhm.
And then if anybody's seen anything in this one that I missed or that anybody else missed, bring it up and we make the same changes.
Because like the first thing I seen there was item 11, spaces leased under a 6-month agreement will not be provided a refund. And then we just now kick that around. That's going to be
Mhm.
changed out.
Yes, both leases should be,
Identical.
yeah, the
Mhm.
same. I
Well,
mean,
pretty much
basically as far as
basic.
refund policies and all that. So that's why I say these here will both have to go to the council and be updated.
A little different on the storage law rental because you may not be selling the item that you're storing there.
You know,
I don't see.
So
any
that
di-
makes
I
it
don't see any
different than
difference in
selling
the
a
two.
boat,
You
but
can have a, you can,
Yeah,
if-
you might
but
just
if-
sell your trailer.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
if
you
somebody
might sell your
passes,
trailer,
if-
whatever, yes.
yeah, what I was looking at, if somebody passes and the
You have a motorhome.
Yeah.
beneficiaries take over, they want to get
Mhm.
this out, is there a refund back? That's the only part I was looking at.
Yep.
Okay, so you're going to withdraw this, the same procedures going, we'll get with the park manager, we'll shoot this off to district's council. Okay, last item on there is create PP 25B, the waiting list verification for slip/lot.
All right, so,
Todd?
yep, so basically that's just the next page, the PP 25B. It's just a slip for the storage lot manager and the dock master to fill out, to take to the office, that the slip or the storage lot spot, trailer, or whatever's going in those spots has been verified, and the size needed for the waiting list that they're going to be put on.
And then again, I had the same comment there. If the offer is accepted, do we just want to change that to deposit will be applied to the first term's leased? And then about the next sentence down, it says, good God, get glasses, Dwayne.
I can't find where you said the first thing, Dwayne.
Fourth line down.
Fourth
One,
line, middle.
2, 3, yeah, the fourth line down says if the offer
Okay,
is
gotcha.
accepted, so we're
Yep,
just
yep.
gonna change that
Found
to
it.
the $100 deposit. And then for some reason, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The sixth one down, it starts off, they will. Do I need that they in there?
DC will be,
Yeah, because they're going to be removed from the waiting list.
leasee will be removed,
Or you can say their name.
or the leasee.
Yeah, leasee will be
Yeah,
removed.
let's see.
Well, he's not a leasee yet. He's a wannabe.
Want to be
Mm-hmm.
Applicant.
Well,
Sorry, that was a bad way of saying that.
applicant. The applicant will be removed.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
that's
use
probably
it
better.
elsewhere in this paragraph.
On this,
I can make it the applicant, no problem.
on this verification, do we need the name of the person that we're putting on the waiting list and their contact information? So we've got records in the office. I assume the dock
Yes,
master
yes,
is
that
gonna
should be
keep
on
track
there,
of
yes.
it.
Yep, that should be on there.
Lori, did you catch that?
Yep, I'm scribbling. That's the
All right,
silence out
Name
of
and
me.
contact info.
Yep.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure what it means at the bottom where it says, no, this is only good for 3 working days from the above date.
Because it says 2 days up there in the,
Yeah.
give them
We-
2 days.
Well,
but-
that's if the offer is declined within 2 days. This says if I come to Todd and I say I'm going to buy a boat and he's got it all measured, I've got a boat, he's got it all measured up, and I hem and haw and I debate, and maybe I go and get a different boat.
I give them
And
3 days.
that's
to
why
get
it
to the
says
office.
it's only good for 3 days.
Yeah, after I
If I hem
talk
and
to
haw
'em-
more than 3 days, I got to go back to Todd.
right, after I talk to them, I give them 3 days to get to the office and pay for it, is basically what that's saying.
For the 2 days is just,
Right, so
That's when he makes the contact that there's
Right.
a space available.
okay,
the word this is the problem, just so you understand.
Yeah,
We have to define what this is.
I'd say payment needs to be made within the 3 working days.
Lease payment,
Least,
No.
no, the $100
the
waitlist
$100
payment needs to
The
be paid
waitlist payment.
within the 3 days.
Mhm.
Because this is just for getting put on the wait list. This isn't a verification of a slip rental.
All this is for the office to know it's okay to collect his $100 because the boat's verified that it fits where it goes.
Mhm.
Right.
I got you.
Just an internal document, really.
Right.
So the 3 days is no big deal.
Are we okay with this?
No, but,
So,
we have to
so we want
define
to change,
deposit,
Deposit required.
deposit,
can I,
required, yeah, within 3 working days
Right.
from the above date.
Yeah.
Gotta be specific.
Mhm.
deposit needs to be paid within 3 working days from the above date?
No, I would say
$100
payment.
deposit is required
Is
within
required.
3 days from above date.
Mhm.
That this is like in May and.
Okay. So we've got $100 deposit required to be paid within 3 working days from the above date.
Mhm.
Good. Any other discussion? Okay. Good with that. Okay, let's start off with the informational reports from the trustees. Cindy, you want to start us off?
Oh, okay. Well, again, we had the feedback about the movie that I'd canceled the 14th. I was looking ahead to the picnic on the 21st. Currently, we probably have, I think I had it 142 people have signed up for the picnic. And you can still go to the park office and get a ticket, which are free through Tuesday. So I probably will do my shopping tomorrow too for everything. I'm just going to suggest that please come to the picnic, because if we buy the food for the picnic, we're guessing that you're going to be there. So that is an expense. So if for some reason you're not coming, please let me know by Tuesday, and we can adjust what I'm going to purchase tomorrow. Magic of Manatee is the Sweet Adeline's choir of 20 people. They'll be here from 7 to 7:45 on Thursday, the 28th. It is free to the residents. My question is, are we charging for people outside if they want to come?
We don't.
We
We don't have people from the outside coming.
no, I thought this was strictly a.
Okay, that's what I'm
resident,
asking.
No.
You know,
Yeah,
Trailer states and registered guests.
yeah,
okay, that was my question.
Mhm.
And then I think they were moved because of the hurricane, right? Because you had them scheduled.
No, they
earlier.
were scheduled for that time.
They were, okay. Then on the 30th, we have Taylor and Taylor as the band for the dance. It's at 7 p.m. Again, if you don't dance, you can still come to that. You can bring your snacks and your drinks, anything you want to share at your table. And I think that'll be a lot of fun. The bingo people, they're still doing a great job. Mary Lou's going to start giving me a monthly count of how many people come for bingo. Over 8 nights, we had 215 people in August, and we took in $1,783, and we also paid that out, because everything we bring in, we pay out.
good.
So it's working pretty well. There's going to be some discussion on the progressive during in season, whether there's going to be a progressive carried over all the time, or if we're just going to pay it out like the summer months. And it was a pretty good haul. I mean, you know, $85 on a couple. Mary Lou won one of them. Okay. We checked her numbers. But yeah, so it's been fun. 31 people last night. And, you know, if you have a chance to win $85 over 2 times, and
It's nice.
it's really good. I've learned a lot over the last few days, and met a lot of new people. So, you know, hanging out at the post office, I questioned that, but I did sign up probably 50, 60 people by hanging out at the post office. So I remember everybody's name too. I just want you to know that.
Right.
You wrote them down. That's so
Yeah,
fair.
no,
Yeah.
I got to rock 'em. But I'm looking forward to trying to figure out new things that we can do on movie night, or, you know, and people suggested if we do have a movie, do it early in the day and in the evening, because some people work. So I don't know. I'm looking at that. It doesn't matter. I just got to push a button. So, but yeah, everything's going good. I've enjoyed what I've done so far, and I've dropped the ball a couple times, but everybody's forgiven me, so it's okay.
At least you remembered the meeting was today.
Oh, I thought it was Tuesday. I thought you guys voted to change it. So thank God the bingo ladies told me, no, you got a meeting tomorrow morning. So if I ever don't show, just come down to New York and get me, okay?
Right.
But you know, that's why you go to bingo, because you learn so much, you know.
Okay.
And I did win 3 bucks. So that's all I got.
Great. Okay, Kathy.
Okay, well, good morning. This is the health and welfare report. 7 paid instructors have now completed their new service contracts. So yay.
Thank you very
Yay,
much
good
for
job.
that.
Just 1 more to go, and we'll do chair yoga when Jim and Shirley return. Each instructor has been very gracious about doing this, like they've really appreciated it. They left with the new sign-in sheets. Thank you, Lori, for doing that. Copies of our incident accident report and policies, and they understood the 10 resident rule per PP 13. So we've had some really good discussions. Many of these instructors carry their own liability insurance. They are certified instructors, so we're getting all of their documents, which will be attached to the new contract, which is in the health and welfare binder in the file room. So that's gone really well. This is way in the future, but the activity fair is scheduled for February 29th, 2024. I know it's a leap year. And the person in charge of it has sent me the contract for the activity fair, which I have given to Lee. And we have that agreement, which you all can look at. And we discussed the fee. And they,
Kathy,
yes,
I'm sorry, is this activity fair or health fair?
I'm sorry, it's the health fair. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I
wrote
had
it
to
down.
stop you.
My bad.
For activity.
My bad.
I didn't
I'm sorry.
have-
The health fair
Okay, sorry.
scheduled for February 29, 2024. We have the contract from the provider, and there is a $400, they call it a donation, that they will give to Trailer Estates at the conclusion of the health fair.
So they're doing everything.
They do it all. They do it all. Your company does it all. Trailer Estates has not signed the contract. And so it's been, the room has been reserved. Things have been done, but as a board, we have not moved forward on this. I'll just put it that way. But learned a lot about what this health fair does and what it doesn't do. There was a lot of misinformation about vendors who could come in, who could not come in. We did clarify that we don't have our own police department. We don't have a fire department, so those entities could come in if warranted. So it was a good discussion. So if this does happen, at least we've made the contacts. One more thing, 2 TheraBand exercise balls were purchased. Thank you, Lee. And they are now in the exercise room with a huge poster on how to safely use them. So now they belong to the park. So that's it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Todd?
All right, as you guys, anybody's been around here has seen if you went by the marina, Fish House is under construction.
Okay.
Hopefully they will be done with it this week. It's looking real good. The guys are doing a quality job on it. They're just running a little slow. Little unusual work for them. They're used to working flat on the ground, not out on a dock. So, but they're getting it done. It's looking great. Tables are already here. We don't have any benches yet, but we'll have the new cleaning tables in there soon. So that should be up and running here, hopefully within a couple, 3 weeks at the max. The marine electrical, we passed the electrical inspection, the final. So we're all good on that. Electric should be restored to all the docks. Just want to remind everybody, these are not shore power plugs. These are for temporary powering, you know, to charge your batteries and stuff, not to be plugged in around the clock. The other thing we've got is I've secured some dates for boating safety classes. Actually, there's 3 classes that we've secured dates for, and I'll be posting stuff on this soon. I just haven't got the posters done yet. Boating safety class is one of them. That'll be in January. The suddenly in command. So if your partner or whoever you're going out boating with, you know, the captain, something happens to captain and they need to get back. Excellent class. And the third one is GPS basics. You know, so how to use your GPS to find out where you're going. I'll have posters up on those soon. And then the other thing that they're going to be doing is the second Saturday in January, boat inspections. So basically, the Coast Guard will come in, inspect your boat, make sure everything's all safety worthy. You'll get a sticker put on the side of your boat. They're only good till the end of the year. So I think we have 8 or 10 boats that did it last year.
Yep.
So they all expire December 31st. So if you get pulled over and they see a sticker, it won't help you after that. So that'll be happening in January also. So I'm real happy to get that stuff going. I highly recommend anybody that boats takes the boating safety class. It is a lot of good information. Details will follow. Then the guys are gonna be working on the treasure barn down there, hopefully getting it finished painted, getting the air conditioner in that back room, doing that stuff hopefully this week. They're still cleaning up from the storm. We still got just a little bit of cleanup, a little bit of large haul work to do yet. So keeping busy. That's all I got.
Great, thank you. Rod?
Okay, we had our first experience with the new software for the PR people, went really, really well. It's going to be a very big time saver for Russell and I, because I mean, it is really good in generating the violation notices. And Russell and I had some discussion about that. We're not sure the first notice goes out needs to be a violation notice, but we need to discuss that and work that out, because they're not in violation because we haven't told them they were.
Right.
So, but we sent out 6 notices last week for my part. The big thing was the grass and weeds, one unsightly, so things are moving along there, and it was good getting trained by Lee. It's a pretty simple application to use. That's it.
So this is a big time saver?
Oh, yeah, I mean, we don't have to pull the profiles and document and keep record of it, because the system keeps track of all that.
Good, so I can assign you additional duties? Just kidding.
Oops, I'm gonna change, I ordered you to say.
You fell right in that one.
Yeah.
I'm erasing what I was fixing to
Let's
say.
say it's maybe time saving, but it's a lot more accurate than what we
Yeah.
used in the past.
Great, thank you. Russell?
Yeah, like Rod said, we've actually been working on that. It's nice to have the technology and to relieve the trustee of being everybody's hated neighbor because of what they have to do. I want to thank Lee for bringing that technology to us and allowing us to work with that. So it's not so hard on us as owners who have to report things and make the calls and confront people. So it has lessened our job in one aspect, but it still is added. Now we've got to keep up with these ourselves and the violation stuff. So it really is nice to have the technology, and that's thanks to Lee. That's it. Well, I think I did 16, so I got a little aggressive. That's due to Lee driving around with me. Otherwise, I'm sorry. I'm blaming on him.
That's why we have a park manager.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yay.
That's right.
Okay, anything else?
We love him. No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Lori?
I've just been working on these documents that doesn't sound like they're going anywhere. I do. Well, give me just a second. I apologize. I do have. Never mind. I'll drop it. I've just been working on documents that went so. Hanging out. Thrilled to have a phone I can actually hear on, and you guys can hear me.
Us too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Feedback on this.
Yeah, I'm loving it. No feedback. That's great. Okay, the only thing I have is just a reminder that Board of Trustees. What?
Treasurer.
I'm gonna save him.
Oh, okay.
Is the Board of Trustees has that vacant position of position at receipt number 9. The letter of interest is due in by September 29th. Right. Correct. So if you're interested in filling that position, please get your resume and stuff in. And the other thing we have is those individuals that would like to run for the Board of Trustees must have their appropriate paperwork into the Manatee County office by October 5th.
Yeah.
I think it's the 5th.
6th is the
Final. Okay. Other than that, since I forgot you, Louis.
So, okay. So we certified our non-ad valorem tax rolls, Manatee County, asking them to please go collect some $1.9 million for us and send it over.
Nice.
And just a couple comments on that. It sounds like a daunting task and there's a lot involved. Manatee County is pretty supportive of Paul Wills at the office. It was very clear when I had any questions. He was very helpful. And I also did talk to former Treasurer Chandler. I began spot checking some of the data. And then Mary sat with me and showed me how to use Excel to do some cross checks to make sure that our prepayments of our seawall assessment were accounted for in the tax roll. And I thank her very much for that help. It made me feel more comfortable to know that I was interpreting the data correctly. And thanks to her. Do you want to save this till the board meeting? Okay. That's the main, that's all for me then.
Okay.
I have one more thing.
All right.
I forgot, on the picnic on the 21st, Lee, can you tell us about that smoke detector thing that's going on?
If you don't mind, I'll put it in my park manager comments, because I'm next anyways.
All right.
Is that okay?
We were going to skip you too.
We
But
were?
also we have one of the residents is donating air conditioner. The Bill's going to look at to see if it can go in the treasure barn. So that might
Nice.
help. And all the postal bulletin boards are going to be updated. So if you have a bulletin board for your club, you need to think about that if you're away right now, because we want it to look more modern and more open for people to read it. Okay, that's it.
Good. Mr. Morris.
Cindy,
Yes.
can I be included in the conversations about the post office bulletin board since I'm responsible for them?
No.
Oh, well, okay, fine.
Yes, Lori. Yeah, that'd be great because
Just see what shows up in the minutes under your name.
and my address and phone number probably. But no, yeah, that'd be great. I've learned that the mechanisms to make the community work is multifaceted. I mean, it's crazy. So all volunteers are important and all input is important. So I'm happy with that. That was a yes.
Thank you.
Lee?
Okay, Mr. Morris.
So remember the save the date for the we'll be able to see it, for the Red Cross for installing free smoke alarms in trailer estates. Sign up sheets are available now in the office. So if you know of anybody that would like to have that done, they can pick them up at the office or even sign up. It's just it's your name, address, phone number, and number of household members, but they must be turned into the office prior I think a week before, so by the 7th, they must be turned into the office. Ones that are turned in the day of the event or anything else will not be honored. And on the 21st at our picnic, Monty Messerschmidt, who is the Red Cross representative, say that 5 times fast, is going to be doing a quick presentation to everybody at the picnic, because Cindy said yes, and talking about the Red Cross smoke alarm program and about fires in mobile homes. A, how hot they burn, B, how quickly they spread, and the amount of time to get out of a mobile home is a quarter of the time to get out of a regularly built home. So please make sure that if you already have smoke alarms, make sure that you have batteries in them and press the test button. And if you're not sure, let's just replace them with the smoke alarms from the Red Cross. Next item has already been broached on. Residents may see me, the north PR person, the south PR person in your neighborhood. In different days of the week, we're doing property inspections. So please don't, we're not singling anybody out. We're just moving on. And if your property looks good, we're going to drive right by. So good news and bad news from Spectrum. The good news is Spectrum made up and kissed and made up with ESPN and Disney. So over the weekend, Rod was able to watch Ohio State barely beat the Sisters of
Barely win.
Well,
The true test is this weekend.
And you know the date of the Michigan or the Ohio Michigan State game? I think it's the 21st of October. Anyways, the bad side is that we're getting some reports that when people call Spectrum, they're told that they're not on some list. And at this point in time, we have no idea what list that is. But we have sent in some notes to Spectrum and asked them for an answer on what they're talking about. And we're working on that right now. And as soon as we find out, we'll let a couple of our residents know. It's not widespread. There's probably 2 or 3 people that we've heard from. And that's it for me, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Next time we have is unfinished business, and I don't think I can remember any unfinished business. So with that, we'll adjourn the meeting at 11:33.
Take a break.
And since I'm starting to freeze up here, I don't know
Yeah.
why I'm cold today.
It's cold.
I'd like to take a 10-minute break. So, well, how about being back here at 11:45?
Okay.
Please turn off your microphones.
I like it cold.
Don't say it, Dwayne.
I'm with her. Yeah.
I heard him thinking it.
thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
There's got to be something. I just saw 2 gnats. There's
Ooh,
got to be something drawn, unless
gnats.
it's in that room next door. How often do they empty all that? I got to go in my cabinet.
What's in there?
Okay.
No, stuff for
I'm not on.
picnics, I think.
Okay. If we're ready, let's go ahead and I'll call to order the regular board meeting for September 18th, 2023 here in Marks Hall at 11:45. Ori, would you call the roll call again, please?
Sure. Lori Dalton here via Zoom. Kathy Gregory,
Present in the hall.
Todd Lombardi,
Present in the hall.
Russell McAllister,
Present in the hall.
Louis Nichols,
Present in the hall.
Cindy O'Brien,
Present in the hall.
Brad Smith,
Present in the hall.
and Dwayne Trotter,
Present in the hall.
and Lee.
Present in the hall.
Okay, with that, we'll open up public comments.
He's following you.
It's because I'm short. Thank you. Donna Fishburne, 1607 Iowa Avenue. Todd, this is a question for you. You were mentioning about the Coast Guard and all coming out. On the news the other day, I only heard it once, but on the Channel 7 News, it said that we're going to, in Florida, if you have a boat, you're going to have to take certain courses and it's going to be listed on your license somehow. I didn't know if.
Okay, what, I haven't found all of it yet, but
Okay.
what I understand at this point is it's in legislation. It is not a,
Not an open
Oh.
meeting.
Okay, go ahead and make your question, and then once we
Okay.
get done with that, then I'll come back for the Board of Trustees to do the responses to their
Okay.
question.
So my question is, did you hear about it? And the next thing is Bill and I have had courses from many years ago, but we have the certificate. Does that count? So that's basically my question.
Okay.
Thanks.
Great, thank you. Do I have any other public comment?
Are you ready for Zoom?
Please.
Dottie Deerwester, 1804 Ohio Avenue. Just wanted to let you know that the Zoom information was not online for people to get online this morning. I called the office and got the information to log in from TJ, so I wanted to let you know that. And I don't know how that affects the public hearing. The discussion about reservations, I kind of got mixed up in the whole discussion, but the use of the word deposit implies a refund of some sort. I recommend using the term non-refundable deposit or application fee and specify if it is non-refundable. The other comment is about the health fair. Obviously, it's a good event. However, vendors are included in the health fair or promoting their business no matter what service they're providing during the health fair. TE has a policy of not allowing businesses to promote their business at TE. How does this fair, vendors who go part of this fair, follow that policy? And those are the only comments I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, do I have anybody else would like to make a public comment? Hearing none, would the trustees like to respond to the questions or comments that were made?
so finish
Yes.
up. All right, so the voting classes and certification, as far as I know, that's all just going into legislation. It's not any laws yet. Hopefully by, January, we'll know what's going on. I'm not even sure when it gets voted on or what, and they will update us on that kind of stuff. And when I know, I'll start posting those kind of things.
And all that was stating was, the current law now says, those voters, before 1988, I think it is, do not have to have the certificate to operate a boat. The new law is now going to change that anybody has to have that certificate, and it will be put on your driver's license. If you have prior certificates, those will be approved. With Todd's recommendation and the classes coming up, I would recommend everybody take those classes to have a
Yes.
current registration.
Yes.
I'm sorry, current certificates and everything else.
Dwayne?
Dottie, I'm sorry, I missed your first comment on the non-deposits, that statement to make reply.
Oh, okay. What I was referring to is that, and the conversation was a little hard to follow, but in some of the policies there, the word deposit is being used. And there was big discussion about refunds or not. And I think when the word deposit is used, there's the implication that there's a refund of some sort. And so I was recommending that the word non-refundable deposit or an application fee, non-refundable, or something like that, so that people don't have a question about whether or not they're going to get a prorated refund. You know, is it a deposit? Is it a fee? Whatever it is. That's just a recommendation.
And to respond to that is, with the board's discussion of what we're going to do is look at that policies of what for those PP 21, 22, blah, blah, whatever they were, is those will be reviewed and sent off to the district's council so we can get those clarified.
Right. Thank you.
And your other one was for the health fair, and I'm sorry, I don't have a response for that. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that PP. I know there was some discussion in prior meetings, but let me go back and take a look at that.
Okay.
Dwayne?
You know, the thing about whether businesses can come and like to the health fair, I didn't quite understand that, but she was asking. Outside businesses can come, right?
No.
No, according to the policy, no, but there's been many discussions over the years that we've had the health fair. And for some reason it was the fee. We couldn't pay the fee, but I've got a lot of questions on that.
Well, we did large health fairs at the post office, and you brought in all the people like the insurance people that could help you with Medicare, the health. We have a new place up there at the strip mall for a doctor's office or where you get, you know, that kind of stuff would be a good resource if we could do a health fair that shows you the local businesses that are willing to come out and talk to us.
Understood, but I need to go back and look at the policy just to see what's actually stated in there.
Okay.
Lori, you had a comment?
Yeah, I need to respond to Dottie's comment that there's no Zoom information online. It is online. They've changed the format. It's on the bottom of each of the first page of the agendas. It gives Zoom information to Zoom in both by computer or by phone.
Okay, I'll take a look at that. Thank you.
Okay, any other public comment? Hearing none, I'm going to close public comment. We'll go right into the approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the September 5th, 2023 board meeting workshop?
So moved.
Make a motion. This is Cindy, Lori.
Do I have a second?
I thought Todd made the motion, Cindy seconds, or?
Sure,
Okay.
that works. Sorry.
Are there any corrections?
Sorry, I thought that's what I heard.
Okay, are there any corrections to those minutes?
I hadn't received any, no.
Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the minutes as written, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, please say nay. Minutes are approved. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the September 5th, 2023 regular board meeting?
So move.
I second.
Is that Louis?
Yes.
Rod seconds.
Thank you.
Okay, is
And
there,
again, I didn't receive any corrections for those.
okay. All those in favor of approving the minutes as written, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, please say nay. The minutes are approved. Could I have the treasurer's report, please?
Yes, sir. Current balance of the Regions Bank business checking account, $15,778.21. The Regions Bank money market account has $1,454,937 even. And within that amount is the balance, our remaining funds from the seawall loan, $176,129.53. The funds from the Trailer Estates Fire Control District, $271,350.20. And the balance in our special assessment fund, $26,358.77. And then our other remaining district funds are $981,098.50.
Is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
I move. This is Kathy.
Do I have a second?
Second, Cindy.
Is there any discussion?
Can we get a copy of that sometimes when they do it?
It's in the minutes.
Say goes a
In the
minute.
minutes?
Mhm.
Do
Okay,
you want
no,
something different?
No.
Okay.
it was very good.
Okay, all those in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, please say nay. Motion is passed.
Yeah.
Do we have any bills?
Yes, sir. So we have we received two quotes for our casualty insurance for our buildings and our total insurance package. One from Aegis, our current insurance carrier, for $130,220. And we received late in the game another competitive quote from Boyd Insurance for $155,751. We are going to renew with Aegis as their bid's lower, and we had some concerns with some things regarding deductibles with Boyd's quote. And so recommending that we renew with Aegis. They've raised our coverage in our building and structures based on a assessment they did of the buildings.
So excuse me, in January of this year, Treasurer Chandler had a appraisal of all the buildings, reappraised. And we were only insured at last year only about
$3.5 million.
So we were able to get the insurer to raise the buildings, the structure and contents limits to 7.7 million, which reflects their appraisal. So our buildings were woefully under appraised or underinsured in this current one. So this brings everything up to the snuff. And I'm sorry to interrupt.
Well, that's fine.
I guess Lori, can you help me with this? Is this actually a bill to be paid, or is this something that's going to be going on to next year's budget to cover the difference in cost of what we had?
The way that we've done our meetings in the past, this would not be a bill. A bill would be like an attorney bill, or if we had some weird Florida Power and Light bill, something like that. That would be what would be done right now in the invoice approvals area. The quotes and the discussion about Aegis and moving forward with Aegis would have been like a motion that we would vote on supporting, moving forward with Aegis.
So actually, this was going to be part of the treasurer's report, and this was just to keep everybody in the loop as to what's coming down. This is all late to the from both Aegis and the other insurer. We're going to bring this for your absolute approval at the October 2nd meeting. But the reason why we're explaining this right now is that we need to be bound on October 1st, and the meeting's on October 2nd. So the timing isn't great, and therefore why this was in the treasurer's report. We kind of missed the treasurer's report. Someone was quick on the
what I'm recommending
this is why I own Great.
I-
This is
Before,
definitely,
technically, if we move this to before we approve the motion, we can say that a discussion followed and then include the quote information that Louis stated, and then say that the board supported moving forward with Aegis. Then we take our vote, which will require you to redo a vote. And then when we come forward on the second, it's just a matter of business that we vote the same way that we did, you know, we give it the same support that we gave the motion in today's treasurer's report.
No,
Does that sound like a clean fix, Dwayne?
I see just a little bit different, Lori, is, let's just go ahead and go back to the treasury report and include this documentation here. But we're still going to have the PP 38 and stuff for the October 2nd meeting for the approval of the board. This is just an informational purposes only.
Well, that's not true, because we need to support his decision to sign this for October 1st. And we're not going to have a chance to do the motion until October 2nd. So we can't leave Louis hanging out there to dry for a day. I think that we need to support that decision today and then officially support it on the 2nd.
if it's canceled,
Well-
then what's the difference?
Yeah. Yeah. We're not gonna go anywhere with it.
It's cancelable. So I don't understand the difference.
Well, go ahead and say it louder so she can hear it.
Lori, did you catch that? It's the binder is cancelable. The binder's not binding.
Sorry, but okay, yeah. All right, I understand that. So we're not, if we wait to vote on this until the 2nd, we're not leaving him out to dry. He doesn't have to sign anything by the 1st.
We don't have to pay it by the first.
No, we're not paying
This is
anything.
that, we don't
No.
have an invoice, it's just a quote.
Yeah, just, we don't want to.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, all right.
Thanks for your concern.
Then I go back to what Dwayne said. I agree.
I'm sorry, I was pushing that right along.
Yeah.
What's the
Okay.
percentage increase, real quick?
Oh, well,
So we'll explain this in the workshop on October 2nd, but we did away with the $1 million umbrella for inland marine, because that's what caught Trailer Estates up the last time with FMIT, where they wouldn't pay. Because there's so many exclusions in the umbrella, what they'll pay. So we scheduled everything in the umbrella, under the umbrella, and that's where we come up with, as you can see, 112,668 as scheduled under the Aegis side. So that, at least we know that because it's scheduled, they'll pay. But in FMIT, when we made the claim for Ian, we got shut out, from what I gather, on almost 2/3 of any claim because of that.
Mhm.
So there's no point in paying $8,000 or $9,000 for an umbrella that's really not going to benefit you. Might as well just schedule it and pay for it.
Wayne, one further comment on this. When the budget was done, Treasurer Chandler projected a pretty big increase.
Substantial.
And so the budget for the insurance is 194,000. So this is a
Wow.
pretty favorable rate compared to what we were braced for.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, back to the approval of bills.
Okay.
Nothing?
No, I have one invoice from Pearson, Cohen, Mooney, Fernandez, and Jackson for $4,088. And this is primarily from work on the language for the resolutions.
I'm sorry, how much was it?
$4,088.
I need a motion for that.
I move we approve the payment, this rod.
Do I have a second?
All right, so Louis made the motion that we pay the bill and then Rod seconds it. This is
Okay.
different from the report.
That works.
Okay, any further discussion? All those I'm sorry, all those in favor of approving the payment as scheduled or stated, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, please say nay. The motion is passed. Okay, let's jump into the agenda items. The first one we have is the bylaw amendment, reduce the board meeting resolution. I have that.
We have public
Then
hearing.
we have
Well, you
public
gotta open
hearing.
that public hearing, Mr. Chair.
Gotta skip right over.
You wanted.
I did. Okay, with that, I'd like to open up the board meeting with a public hearing to reduce the board meetings via the bylaw amendment and have the public input.
Are we limiting this public input?
No,
Wayne, is this for both the term limits and the board meeting
Resolutions.
changes?
no,
No,
we've
okay.
already had the
Oh, okay, we've
the
already
other,
had the, okay, gotcha.
public hearing. Do I have anybody on Zoom that would like to make a comment for the public?
Yes, yes, Dottie Deer Wester, 1804 Ohio. I understand the reasoning behind reducing the amount of trustee meetings. During the summer months, though, what is the reality of having a lot of information that needs to be processed and have such limited time, resulting in possibly having more meetings set by the chair to cover the additional items? Not sure how to say that, but I wonder if it's sufficient for the amount of work that the trustees have on each agenda. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any other public comment? Hearing none, I want to close the public hearing. Do we want to have a response
You're
to
not
that?
required to.
I don't think
You're
we
not
need to
required to.
respond to that.
I-
I hear what she's saying, but I don't see the necessity of it, but
You, at any
The way it's
time, at
written.
any time, the board or the chair can
call
call
it emergency
a,
meetings.
a meeting with due notice. Correct. I'm assuming that she's thinking that there might be too much information to process at one board
One
meeting.
point, yeah.
But once we go through all this and we've got everything caught up that needs to be caught up, then that'll.
That's kind of where I'm at too.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, with that one, then now we've closed public hearing. I'd like to make the motion to adopt the resolution 2023-07 and the proposed 2024 meeting calendar as attached. Do I have a second?
I'll second that. This is Todd.
Any discussion? And attached to that, it shows that the public hearing was on September 18th with the notices and everything. I did go through the calendar dates. Everything looks in order.
All right, Dwayne,
Yes,
I can also let you know that I've been in contact with Treasure Barn regarding should this, be passed, and they're still standing with their original list of dates that they gave me for 2024. So this doesn't impact Treasure Barn at all.
correct. Okay. So it's been seconded.
Mhm.
All those in favor?
Yep.
No. What?
Rod,
I seconded it.
I thought I heard somebody say something.
Todd second.
I did.
No, I know that.
Lori said so.
And there was with the discussion has been done. All those in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed, please say nay. The motion is passed. The second item we have is the trustees' term length changes, resolution 2023-06.
Okay, guess that's me. I move that we adopt the resolution 2023-06 as attached and presented. This is Rod.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that, Laurie.
Mr. Chair, may I? And now that discussion is open. Couple things I want to point out in this resolution and in this this is to change the term lengths of our trustees from 2 years to 3 years. And in doing so, now currently we elect 4 trustees 1 year, we elect 5 trustees the next year. And through about a 5 to 6 year period, it rolls everything over to 3 trustees each year. So we have 9 trustees, 3 trustees roll over every year. And to do that, it's going to require us to have an additional election
One in December.
one in December and one in March, of which we would be on the hook for paying, which I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. But we did discuss way back in the day that there are costs, and I think we estimated the cost between $10,000 and $15,000, which is still ringing true on this. But the schedule is there's going to be some weird things happening. 27-month length terms. One term for a trustee is going to be 15 months for the first year. And then the second year, just for all of 24, there'll be 2 trustees that have a 1-year term. After that, everything smooths out and we're gone to the 3-year schedule after, I believe, March 11th, 2025.
I did have a question on that because seats 8 and 9 on here, it shows a 1-year term in December. But then the next election isn't until March 11th, which is not a year. Then you're showing those 2 seats up for election again, or am I misreading this?
No, if you look up at the top, so up here is December 2024 is the election for these 5 people.
25.
And then March 11th, which is 4 months later, the 2 1-year terms switch over to the 3-year terms.
You mean 4 people?
But they automatically
No,
switch
2.
over, or they're elected?
No, they don't automatically switch over. That's where that election is.
But those
That
terms-
second election.
Oh,
On
okay.
But
March
that term is
11th,
only
25.
4 months.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's only a 4-month term, not a 1-year term. That's my question.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
No, so what they're saying is that for the 2 1-year terms in December of 2024, that's correct. 8 and 9,
So
that's only going to be 4 months.
Okay,
Right.
Okay.
that's where my question.
Right. And the supervisor election is going to determine how that will be awarded based on the top vote getters and so on and so forth. That's up to them to award. The wording we were only allowed 75 words for the amendment, that's ballot language, and 15 words for the title. So our district council, Mr. Cohen, had a hard time figuring that out to get the right wording. And thank goodness for Trustee Smith, because he was pretty good at figuring it out. So.
And an additional comment here, with that election in December of 2024, there's 5 positions that are up, but that does not mean that only 5 people can run for those positions. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So there could be.
It's always,
Rate
it's
how many
whoever
ever,
decides
and
to
the
run, correct.
Supervisor of elections would determine how those positions would be allocated.
And then the last thing I wanted to add, or to make sure everybody's aware of, is that this is a charter amendment. And if the amendment fails this December, then we stay and we're going to elect the 4 people for the regular term of 2 years.
Correct.
Or we would like 5 people in December 2024.
I'm talking about 23 right now.
2023, this
Okay,
upcoming,
23.
this upcoming
23,
election. Yeah.
Correct, is going to be just 4 people.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that would stay the same for 2-year terms if this charter amendment goes down. So a lot of things have to fall into place in order to get this to change, but once the wheel gets, moving, then it'll stay on track, and then it's the supervisor of elections problem to figure it out every year, not ours.
Clear as mud.
Clear as mud.
Well, one more thing real quick with those 2 4-month terms. Is that going to cause a problem with getting their paperwork turned in and all that? Because it's pretty much what it is now is
Mm-hmm.
4 months ahead of time. If those people want to continue to run, they pretty much have to have run and then have their paperwork turned right back in for the next election.
Mhm.
Is that, I mean, just
I think
making sure I seen
it's
it.
not going to be a problem, but we're going to have to make sure that whatever we do, that either the election supervisor makes it clear, and then we help them
That's the point. That's
get the
exactly
point
what I'm
across.
trying to say.
I hear
Okay.
you. I think that it's going to be confusing for about a year, for actually about
Year and a half.
a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest fear is we won't have anybody to fill those seats is what I'm worried about.
And then you can appoint.
Mhm.
So there's no issue there. And when you appoint for X amount of a term. So it's not a big deal. That's why I'm not as concerned about this if there's not people that aren't running for the shorter terms, as you always have the ability to appoint for your docs.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, Rod made the motion. Do I have a second?
Russell
It
seconded.
was already seconded by
already
Russell.
seconded. Okay.
Yep.
All those in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, please say no. Nay. Motion is approved. Okay, the next item we have on the list is the waterfront works at 6915 and 6917 Tarpon Lane.
That's
Rod,
me again. I move to approve waterfront changes on 6915 and 6917 Tarpon Lane as per attached plans.
and it looks like
Um,
they have all the certificates.
Well, he didn't, give me a second. He had
Dwayne?
approved waterfront changes. He added
Dwayne,
on there.
Yes, Lori.
thank you, Russell. That's exactly what I was going to say is, Rod, you need to read your motion exactly as it was turned in, get a second, and then you amend it to add the word changes.
Okay. I move to approve
Okay.
waterfront on 6915 and 6917 Tarpon Lane as per attached plans.
Now, do I have a
I'll
second?
second that.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Now do I?
Now you want to
make
amend your
the,
motion, Rod?
amendment to the motion to,
well, do we have any? Go ahead.
I move to amend the motion to read to approve waterfront changes on 6915 and 6917 Tarpon Lane as per attached plans.
And I'll second that amendment.
Okay, do we have any discussion?
Now we can have a discussion, Dwayne.
Thank you, Echo.
I mean, everything's been approved, the
Yeah.
plans and everything, so I think everything is in order.
They got their permits from
Yeah,
the Corps and the county and all that stuff.
yep.
Actually, the work's gonna take place in about a week.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the the motion as amended, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, please say nay. The motion is approved. The fourth item we have is the adopt salary and benefit plan. Lewis?
I make a motion to adopt the attached staff benefits and salary plan for the 2023-24 budget year.
Do I have a second?
I second it. Cindy?
Any discussion?
Did we, based on what we discussed in the workshop, were we going to look at some of that with the, especially with the benefit of the retirement contributions?
Mhm.
So I don't know what the process would be to vote on this or
Yeah, do we have
table
to,
it or what?
but this is already, we basically already approved this.
We've already approved the 20.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
23,
this is
24.
looking at.
Oh, I gotta think about that one. We approved the 22-23, right?
Mhm.
Not 23-24.
Yeah,
We approved it in the budget, but we haven't
23,
actually
24.
approved the expenditure.
I'm sorry, Lori, I didn't hear that.
We've approved it in the budget, but we haven't approved the expenditure, and this is approving the actual expenditure.
I guess I'm lost.
with our discussion in the workshop, we actually created questions about
Mhm.
approving this.
Mhm.
So
We did.
we really need to withdraw this and bring it back at the next meeting.
Until we get all our answers.
Right, because you made note you were going to investigate.
Yeah. So what do I have on here? Louis, do you want to go ahead and withdraw this motion?
Are we still having
and-
discussion? We still having discussion?
Yeah, we're still.
Yeah.
I'm not,
That's where we're still
I'm
at.
not sure what's
I'm not sure
the
what.
question. I mean, these are, we approved the budget based on these. All this document was to put the finalized numbers for the benefits in. And haven't, as far as Lee's retirement, wasn't that negotiated in his contract with,
Mhm.
I mean, are you gonna
So we done.
change his contract for this year?
No, I'm not.
Then I'm not sure why we need to table the motion.
But Rod questioned the,
How we calculated the retirement.
the retirement.
Oh.
And if I remember right, Lee, correct me, your retirement is a set fee or a set dollar amount because it was
Mhm,
offset by
medical.
not taking any of the health
Mhm.
benefits
That's correct.
to cover that.
Mhm.
So he
okay.
doesn't,
Talked about
his
that.
retirement is set at a specific dollar amount
In the contract.
in the contract.
Mhm.
So it's really not subject to the 3% that we had.
Mm-mm.
The 3% is only reflecting back on the, off the, performance issues. If that clarifies it.
And those are gonna be reviewed by performance issues. You already said they'll be reviewed by the department heads.
Correct,
Mhm.
correct.
But really, yeah, we're not,
So really, I don't need to amend this.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
That pretty much cover it, Lori?
So we're not recommending that he withdraw it. We're gonna go ahead and vote on it.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
So I just forgot who seconded it.
Cindy.
Cindy did. Okay, all those in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, please say nay. The motion is approved. Okay, the next item we have is the website upgrade and the migration to Streamline. And why does this say Lombardi? Because I didn't change mine. And I think that was Mr. Morris.
Thank you. So this is, we talked about this at length in our last workshop, and
Sure, let me interrupt you. Let me read your motion.
Sorry, go ahead.
Let me
Yes,
read your
perfect.
motion as, yeah, you've got it down here, and to make a motion to migrate our website over to a streamlined special district platform.
Mhm.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Whose voice was that?
Louis,
Louis, sorry.
is there any discussion?
Thank you.
I'm sorry. My bad. The discussion, is that we, have looked at our existing, website at length, and the functionality that we'd like to see there is just not available, and it probably, even updating it or, is not going to get us the, desired result. Therefore, we've asked to move it over to a streamlined, platform. And the cost is, attached. We are going to have to renegotiate Big Fish's contract to exclude that amount out of there. We have not been able to get a price. He says that he doesn't exactly do a lot on it, and he includes the website migration or work in the hourly rate that we're given. So the Big Fish contract is up. The Big Fish contract is up currently, or if not very soon, and we can look at it at that point in time.
Any further discussion?
Yes, please.
Go ahead, Laurie.
I understand that we're not going to be reducing our cost from Big Fish by very much because they do very little to support the website. I know that we're getting ready to spend, if we approve this, we're getting ready to approve spending $4,500 to migrate it to the Streamline, and then we're going to be on the hook for $375 a month. And I'm not sure that we're getting the bang for our buck that we need. And I hear multiple times the comments that the minutes need to be on the website. And the board multiple times have discussed doing the minutes on the website. And in each one of those discussions, the board vetoed the idea of putting the minutes on the website. That's the only reason the minutes aren't on the website. They can be on the current website. It's just a matter of the board approving, taking that action. So I'm not sure that I want to support $4,500 to migrate it and then an additional $375 a month. I just don't see that as a real great spend right this second.
Why do you think $4,500 to migrate?
Says 500,
It's
Lori.
It's 500 to migrate. The one times $4,500 for a year is the 375 times 12.
Right.
Right. That's what it is.
So it's $5,000 for the first year.
And Lori,
Okay.
to speak about the minutes, I understand that the minutes are important, but with the information that Lee presented at the last meeting, this company can do more for us than just putting the meeting minutes on.
Mhm.
It is the idea of making our website more user-friendly, to be able to query a policy or a rule and be able to go right to it, to do the things that right now we really are not able to do. And since we tell the website, even the residents' website is the one stop to get all information, it needs to be that way. Where activities are at your fingertips, where we can make it so that you want to know something, there it is. And currently, it is not.
And to keep our website updated immediately
Mhm.
and to present it in a different format that, like Kathy said, to make it easier for even the least likely person that can't
Mhm.
use a computer.
Does this include them hosting the website
So
as far as who owns the domain and all that kind of stuff, or do we own it? Or
we need to own our own domains.
Mhm.
And because we have multiple domains. So this, we give them permission to host it on their server, but we still maintain ownership of the domains.
do we own trailerestates.com right now?
Yes.
Okay.
And others.
Several.
Is this a contract for a year?
No, no contract. Well, I'm sorry, contract, but we can leave anytime.
Okay.
So it's still set that we pay the $500 to do the initial migration.
Correct.
And then $375 a month.
Who
period.
gives
And so
input for it?
it totals like Louis said,
$5,000.
5,000
It's for the
for the
first year.
first year
Yeah.
total.
And
But we only pay it monthly.
right, we're getting a discount on this because we're FASD members, Florida Association of Special Districts, and it discounts almost $2,000 off the rate.
It actually helps pay for the,
It almost helps pay
Yeah.
for the FASD.
Yeah.
So would
That's
they
not-
work with you on changing the pages and what we need to see?
I
Or
think that will have to still work in concert with the secretary,
Yeah.
you know, to make changes, but I think that either one of us can make changes and possibly even a third person here if we need to. But if Lori wins the lottery right now, I have absolutely no idea how to get into our current website.
Well, I need to go back then and take a look at the policies because Lori is the sole administrator
Yep.
for the website. So
Well-
I actually have to go back and delegate a
the
second,
secretary is.
the second,
secretary is.
secretary. But I'd have
Well,
to
no.
delegate a second one of a substitute or an alternate.
Well,
park manager?
Dwayne,
Hmm.
at one time, we had it set up where we had a web administrator and a webmaster, two different people that could do the website. With that website, all you could do was plug in data, and you could attach an agenda, or you could delete an agenda. You could attach a document, delete a document. If we changed PPs, the text of a PP, we had to send it to Computer Assist was our company then, and they had to actually make those changes. When we went with Big Fish and we upgraded to Big Fish, the ability to add what we needed, the agendas, was provided, but it also provided the ability to change anything on the website. You could change the color format, you could add and delete photos, you could rearrange the entire website. And at that point, it was decided by the board that there would only be one person, one web administrator or master, I don't remember which one prevailed. And we would eliminate that secondary person because that secondary person would be supported by Big Fish. And it was just that I was also assigned to be the web administrator. Nothing says that the web administrator has to be married to the secretary.
Okay,
We just found it easy and convenient to do that.
but I'd also like to have an alternate. That
Yes.
okay with the board?
Yes.
And that's fine. Like I said, a lot of it can depend on what can the alternate do to the website. And that was our only fear, was how much ability was given to the other web person as to what they could or couldn't do on the site. I can certainly give Lee all the passwords and stuff to be able to get into the website and show him anything that he wants to see, but it's kind of a moot point because I believe that we're going to move towards Streamline, and that's fine. But when we get to Streamline, if it's a matter of whoever has those passwords can change anything on the site, I think we need to restrict the site update to now a trustee rather than just a web administrator. Actually assign it to a trustee and keep all the passwords and stuff in-house. So trustee, maybe two trustees and Lee, or however we do it, but keep it in-house.
Can I make it? I understand what you're saying, Lori, I really do. But considering how much movement we've had with trustees lately, I'm very leery about that. I would feel better if the park manager held that,
I agree.
because
Agree.
too many, we've had too much movement. And if someone, let's say Louis has the passwords and Louis vacates and leaves, what do we do? I think that we have
All
to
right,
be
well-
realistic about how things are nowadays.
yeah.
And that we look at things and it should be delegated to the park manager.
I don't know that the password issue is still a password issue. It doesn't matter if it's the park manager, if it's a trustee. Everybody can hit the lottery.
Well,
What
how is it? Lori,
everybody
how's it
needs to
set up
understand.
right now?
Let
Go
her
ahead, I'm
finish.
sorry.
I would say what you have to understand is how the passwords are set up right now. There is a filing cabinet that TJ has that stays locked up and stuff, that has everybody's passwords in it. And I have a whole list of all of the different venues that I use and all of the different passwords, because I had to separate my calendar from that of YouTube so that I was the only one that could touch the calendar, because at one time it was anybody who was signing on from the park under YouTube. And so we made the decision that was too. So anyway, to say, I have a list of passwords and they're all locked up in the filing cabinet. If I fall off the face of the earth, TJ can go to that filing cabinet and all of my passwords are right there. And I assume, there's that rotten word, I assume that exists for everybody else. Big Fish also backs it up. So if something happened and I fell off the face of the earth and they couldn't find that sheet that has my passwords on it, Big Fish can reset passwords and can set up access and that sort of stuff. I assume Streamline would do the same thing.
Cindy?
Well, I think you have to have more than one person trained to do something that reflects on the community that much. And yeah, if she's gone, you need to have a backup ready to take over, but they need to be working together, so they both understand. And I think the park manager should be involved in that because he's got some good ideas. But even if you want another trustee, I mean, I have no problem working with Lori. She's nice most of the time. So, but I
You don't know me.
it's time to update things. You look.
Yes.
What,
Yes.
Lori?
I'm just dying to see the minutes or what you're gonna put under. I'm sorry, go ahead, Lori, you was gonna make a comment.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just explaining what the history of it was. I don't know Streamline. I don't know how they do their updates. I don't know if it's going to be where we have control of A, B, and C, and Streamline has control of the rest of the alphabet, or if we have control of A through Z. And that makes a difference on my opinion on who all gets passwords and training and stuff, and how supportive is Streamline. So I don't know the answers to those questions. I don't think anybody does right this second, so I don't think we can answer that. That's a little premature.
Well, it's the same thing as our website right now. Nobody else knows anything.
Okay, well, Russell, this second, if something happened and you had to get a flyer up on the website, and I was in Lansing cashing in my lottery ticket, you could call Big Fish, and Big Fish would take care of it.
Ah, okay.
Not sure how much.
So you're not hanging out to dry at all.
With the problems we're having with Big Fish and everything, I don't know that's gonna become an issue.
Well, I don't want to get into the issues with Big Fish. I
Right.
think they're starting to work themselves around with the recent changeover in ownerships. But the problem is who we want to have delegated as the administrator and the alternate. And the way I'd like to leave it is that the park manager be added to that. and the responsibility to stay with the secretary, but it's coordinated between the two. I don't see much more than that.
Okay,
Like Kathy said, if something
You
happened
know,
to one.
because I don't like the idea of going out to the trustees. We do have so much changes. And I don't have the time in my position to look at what's going to be added to that website. And Lee, if you would, when we get out of here, check with Streamline just to see if they're going to be backing up the same as what Big Fish used to do.
Yes, I've dealt with Streamline, so yes, I can tell
think
you
they
that.
do, but I don't have the positive answer for you.
They give us the opportunity to update as much as we'd like to, except for the basic format of the page. And then if we wanted something changed in that, we would go to Streamline. But Streamline will also make changes if we are not able to, by sending them the changes, they'll make it for us. And that's included in our monthly fee.
Okay.
This is the access. I would think it's somewhat configurable by what we want, what we tell them, isn't it?
Correct. There's levels.
Yeah.
There's an administrator, there's a manager, there's users and
Yeah.
that have certain access to being able to change different things on the website.
Do you have any idea what the time frame is for the migration? If we called them tomorrow and said, okay, we're a go, any idea how long it takes to do the changeover?
About 30 days.
And then my next question is, what does that look like? I assume our website's just active and then one day it's like, boom, it's.
No, I think that there's templates that we get to choose from of the basic way we'd like our website to look like. And then from there, we have to start categorizing all the information. For example, nothing on our front page talks about newsletters. Newsletters need to be a little more front and center. Board meetings. So there's a template that we can choose from. And my thought is that there'd be some choices there. Did that answer your question? I'm sorry.
Well, sort of, but I'm like, so one day trailerestates.com aims at the one Big Fish made, and then one day it's going to aim at the new Streamline.
Once it's populated, yes, but not until it's done and ready to go.
Okay, so
They're running
until this is ready.
Right, they're running a version that we'll be able to update and see on their servers under a different domain.
Is there anywhere we can go that gives us an example of what Streamline does?
Yes.
What would that be?
You can use both the Holiday Park as well as Tripar, I think. If it's supported by FASD, I'm sure any other park and recreation would have that.
So Streamline, so they have other fire districts. There's not a lot of park and recreation districts here, but there's a ton in California that have, websites too. But I think that every website's unique and we're going to have to build it as to what we think is important to be on the, homepage and navigation and, and also this will be able to give us data as far as how many people are visiting our site, where they're going, and we can figure out. The nice thing about it is that it's changeable. If we think that board member information needs to be on the second page or somewhere else, we can move that. So that you can always move menus and add to drop-down menus and that kind of thing.
And we can't presently, can we presently do all that by any means, or we have to go through a lot of hassle?
yes,
It's limited on the current website that, for example, the front page of our website has just a border across the top that lists the different things. And then there's drop down on that. On other websites, there's the drop down menus, but there's also boxes on there that have, looking for a newsletter, looking for a form, looking for a policy and procedure, looking for our rules, looking for information about our marina. These are, in pictures of a marina or whatever, but it's just a little bit less clunky than what ours
So
is.
it's easier to navigate with Streamline for us.
Dwayne.
Yes.
I'd like to speak to Louis' question about how the transfer happens. What we did, and I can only speak with what's happened in the past, not future. But when we went from Computer Assist to Big Fish, Big Fish had like Lee said, they had a site on their server. They migrated the information over. I went through and I looked at and was proofing and verifying. And through that process, I was bringing back screenshots to the board meetings, and they were being discussed in the board meetings, and trustees were saying they like this, don't like this, do this, do that. And when we came up with the final version, this was what we were going with. We said, and I'm making up this date, it's just for analogy. We said October 10th is when we're switching. So October 9th was the old website, October 10th was the new website. And that's, so it's like flipping a switch. But there was a lot of behind the scenes work that happened prior to that switch flipping.
So you brought up, the next question I had in mind is who's gonna have design approval on this? Because I don't, just me, and you can all say you're crazy. I don't want to spend board meetings going, oh, I think it should be aqua. I think it should be red.
My preference is to, when Lori gets back here, she has the, like any of the trustees can go directly to the park manager without breaking the sunshine law. Sit down and let them work out what they would like to have on that website. And then once it's, I don't really care when the date flips or the light switches and we go over to the new one. That would then give the rest of the board members the opportunity to go through and look at that website, then come back to future meetings and say, hey, this isn't meeting the demands of what the residents want, because the biggest one I've heard is the activity schedule. But that would give us the opportunity to come back and say, okay, Lori, secretary as well as the park manager, say, let's change this. No,
That's a great
I
point.
just see as a process, not going through and saying, hey, do you like this color and all the rest of that stuff.
It should not have to be a board level
Let
decision.
Dwayne pick the colors.
Don't let me pick the.
And you bring up a great point. Lee involved, we can all talk to Lee.
Yeah, and that's the great
As
thing
opposed to
about
each
it.
other. Right.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right.
And we don't have to go through 17 meetings to identify that process.
Thank you. Good.
Okay, now that I've totally lost where in the heck I'm at, we did get a second
We did.
To a vote.
on this and we're up to a vote. Any other discussion before we get ready for the vote? Okay, all those in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, please say nay. The motion is passed. Okay, the next item we have is the boat storage slip and changes, PP modifications as required.
Oh,
Is that right?
All right, so now,
Are we moving forward with these, or are we tabling all of these?
because these need to be reworded, basically, is what my question was. So I think they almost all need to be tabled, but
Okay,
Or withdrawn, actually withdrawn is the better.
it would be withdrawn, yeah. So
withdrawn,
we're
yeah.
gonna withdraw that, the update update PP 21, the rates, update PP 21A, update PP 22. Also update, PP 23. So those are all gonna be, withdrawn and brought back.
25 we can talk about.
We're gonna also withdraw 25B.
yes, I'll just, all of them, I would just
You wanna withdraw them all?
all of them, and then we'll just redo it at the next board meeting.
All right, whatever changes you want, Ted, you're welcome to send to me and I'll type anything you want typed.
Okay.
Yay.
Holy cow, that just shortened it.
Yeah.
Okay, all I have left then is the trustees' final comments, if we have any.
I just have
Kathy?
one. This is from Treasure Barn. They send their apologies. I thought meetings went to Tuesdays. So apologize for
Me
that.
too.
A lot of people thought that. Treasure Barn opening day is Thursday, October 5th, which is coming quickly.
Oh, yeah.
On opening day, any and all assistance to set up. We begin at 7 a.m. that day to set up because it is jammed in there.
Yeah.
So anybody who can come down to help us set up would be greatly appreciated.
What's the opening date? Sorry.
Thursday,
October 5th.
October 5th. And it will be a humdinger day. They're jam full. So please come and help and then please bring money and buy it all. And then they just wanted to just kind of look at maintenance, make sure they're going to get their stuff painted and ready to go before
Should
opening
be
day.
happening this week.
So thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments from the trustees? Hearing none. Do we have any unfinished business? Hearing none, I'll adjourn the regular board meeting at 12:51. Right. Please turn off your microphones.